All right. Time for the shoe. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 2, session 2 of Urban Shadows. Urban Shadows, welcome to New Midian. Starring the awesomest folks here. Let's see here. Oop, hold up. That's why I messed up. We suddenly have Mark. Oh, awesome. Excellent. So, starting over here, uh, Aaron, why don't you introduce yourself, sir, and your character?
Sure, Aaron. My character is Eugene Banks, the hunter. He is dedicated to taking out the sentient, undead, and the demonic.
All right, just like real life. And up
Just
here,
like real life.
we have Steve.
I am playing the Adrian, the vessel, and has survived for a couple hundred years and is hoping the city doesn't get destroyed like the rest of them.
We shall see. We shall see. And over here, last but not least, we have Mark.
Hello.
Hello.
Hopefully my audio is coming through.
It's coming through.
Yes, it is.
Great. Yes. So
what's the clicking? Who's clicking?
That would be me. Trying to make sure that I get signed into the right place in the right game.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So Mark, I won't make you multitask, but Mark is the sessions veteran. He's the guy that was kind of someone to know in the whole supernatural scene in New Midian years ago, and kind of faded into the back, and now he's just kind of like a has-been, but with a lot of background knowledge and relationships to work with, which is pretty cool in this game.
Correct. I apologize. I could not remember my character's name. Kyle the Doc Ito.
Yes, Doc. Excellent. That's already on your label there. Yeehaw, Cowboys. All right. So let's see here. Let's go, and I'll take you guys back to the moves. We can start out running. Let's see. The session intro move. So for those of you, Mark, who were not here last time, I'll read it out. So at the beginning of every session, choose the player, your character, the player of the character you trust the least, to spotlight a faction for your character, one that is not already marked, and mark that faction, which could give you an advance. Tell the MC about a rumor or conflict that you've heard about the faction, building on previous established information if you'd like, and roll with the faction. And basically the idea is this is your opportunity to create fiction the way you want it. If you're thinking the story is lacking zombies, it's time to make some zombies, in your conflict type of thing. And especially, it's cool to include yourself. That way we can embroil you in. This is your way of steering where the fiction's running, which is pretty cool. So then just roll with the faction, and we'll see where we go. So let's see here. Mark, are you actually ready to go?
Probably
well,
not.
I'll let you go last, since I'll let you kind of see how the other guys are doing it. Then we can work out. Let's go with Steve. Well, let's start with Steve.
Okay.
Adrian, I'm sorry. I'm going to start addressing.
I guess the person I trust least would be the one that I haven't played with.
But
so it's an easy choice anyway. So I will give that to Kyle, who
can only really mark.
I'll let you continue to chew, because you can only mark one faction on mine, which is Wild, because that's the only one I do not have marked.
Excellent. So we'll go with Wild.
Okay.
I'll mark it.
Yes. So basically, the idea is that there are 4 factions. There's Mortality, Night, Power, and Wild. And the idea is, again, with this choice, like I said, he trusts you least, so you get to choose like a faction to spotlight. Now, on your side, assuming that they don't have too much checked over, this is your opportunity as a person who is doing the spotlighting to decide kind of what where you're going to push that character. Like oh, he really hasn't done anything with Mortality yet, and I want him to kind of get into my faction, so I highlight Mortality for you. Or like, you've been having a horrible time with Night, so we're gonna give you night to give you more roll times, which is good for story. That kind of thing. So there's opportunity to steer the fiction on both sides. So, all right, given that you can only choose wild, because that's the only one he has unmarked, there's really no choice there. So, let's see here. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what's happening, and then we'll make our roll to see how deep you are.
Last time I mentioned that the wizards were after a spot in the Tenderloin district for a bunch of ley lines, or a nexus of some sort. And that area was controlled by the Fae. So this time, since I'm doing wild, the Fae, rolled by Queen Mab.
Ooh, Queen Mab.
Why
Is she
not?
Winter Court? I forget.
She's Winter Court, or at least I'm saying she's Winter Court. I have no idea what she was in Shakespeare.
We don't care about Shakespeare. Shakespeare is wrong. This fiction is
Right.
the correct one.
But I am saying that she's been deliberately giving ground to lure the wizards in, and she's ready to spring a trap on them.
Neat. Cool. All right. Well, that's an awesome bit of conflict there, and like I said, it sounds like you could be involved on both sides, which is neat. Or you're
Likely.
you and everybody else.
Likely
really.
torn between the two.
Gotcha. Right.
So I get to roll with the faction.
Yep. So let's.
Which I'll remember to select at this time.
Yep.
And I succeed.
Oh, it's a 10.
Better.
Oh wow.
All
right. So on a 10 plus, you're prepared for the conflict you've laid out. You get a debt on someone in that faction, or a piece of useful information or equipment, your choice. So what would you like?
Well, I'm going to say, let's go for a debt this time.
Okay.
And I'm going to say I have a debt on her second.
What's her name? Or his name, or their name?
We will go with... we'll go with Asherah.
Ooh, I better get on this. Hold on. I'm going to bring up my NPC table.
And I have no idea what type of Fae she is. I'm not very good with different Fae types.
Sure, we'll figure that out. Okay, so let's
a second. Let's go for a pixie.
All right, and what's this person's name again?
Asherah, Ashera.
Hera. Let's see, a vassal pixie. Did you say?
Sure.
Pixie. All right, excellent.
And I owe her, or she owes me a debt, because I've been feeding her information on the stuff that Julian has wanted me to do for him.
Oh, nice.
So I've been feeding her some of the enemy's plans.
Gotcha. Well, since we're there, what have you been doing for Julian? I don't think we really covered any of that.
He has ordered me to, I think, make some probing attacks on some of their, I guess their
holdings,
physical holdings.
Gotcha. Okay. Like to shut them down, just kill everybody there, or just kind of mess it up, or interfere enough where
just to cause disturbance. And I think he's been trying to do that to, redirect them from where they're actually, interested in.
Gotcha. The feint within the feint.
I've been, telling Asherah that, and, so that they know, it's my little quiet form of rebellion, against my orders.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And so she isn't the Winter Court theoretically isn't a fan of yours, really.
They're not a fan, but I've been sort of buying their affections back by feeding them info.
Excellent.
And since that did mark my fourth faction, I'm going to take a new move, and I'm taking a out of playbook move from the Revenant called Vigilante.
Ooh.
Which involves going into battle and being able to do stuff.
Cool. Actually, yeah, we'll get into what that is later. But yeah, definitely mark your advancement, mark your new move, etc.
And then just a quick reminder, once we're done with these opening session moves, we still need to assign debts or talk about the debts.
I think we do that at the end. That's the end of session. We did that move before.
For Kyle, I think.
Oh, yes, for Kyle, yes. You're right. Since he wasn't here, we haven't established what he has and what he's... Or actually, I suppose we know what debts he owes, but we'll work on that. Yeah, good. So let's see here. Cool. All right, so awesome. Let's go to Aaron. Why don't you tell me who you trust least?
All right. So same reasons. Just because Mark's newest, I'm going to have him pick.
Cool. All right. So what do you have unmarked as your?
I have mortality and power. Both of those are unmarked.
Nice. So Kyle.
Mark.
Yes. Well,
Kyle.
I'll be addressing you as Kyle. What do you want to mark for Eugene? Which faction?
Power.
All right, power.
Nice. All right, so that's like let's see, your wizards, your hallowed, your oracles. This is in fact this actually for example the person you may or may not be visiting today, that psychic is an oracle. Also immortals.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea what's going on with it.
So, let's say there's the rumor I've heard, or actually not the rumor, the thing I keep hearing from my sister lately is that there is a hallowed. His name is Reverend James Ackle, and he's been sending his flock through the neighborhood, trying to find people who believe that life is precious, and his flock has been knocking on her door more than once, and she suspects that they know who I am as a hunter, and that there's something more to this than just, hey, will you join our flock?
Interesting. Cool. Okay, so just to clarify, Reverend James is visiting who? Let's bring this all about.
Oh, that's right. I have to give my sister a name now too. Let's call her. Let's see.
The sister you've always wanted.
Yeah, the sister I've always wanted. Hope my sister isn't actually watching this.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go with Darla.
Darla. Let's see. Excellent. Okay. All right. So basically, the Reverend James is coming around there to try to entice Darla into joining his flock, and starting to get ideas of what's coming and going on with you. He's you may be a hunter, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, one of his big things, Reverend Ackle, Reverend James Ackle.
Right, I got that.
One of his big things is that life is precious, and that so basically, nobody should ever be killed.
Oh, then that whole hunting evil thing is kind of goes counter to that. I see.
A little bit.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. So let's see here. So that I can see where there can definitely be some conflict. So let's go ahead and roll your dice. Roll with power.
Okay, so let's see. Roll power session intro.
Yep. What? And let's see. Ooh, 4. Ooh. That's deep. That's deep. All right, so let's see here. On a miss, you're caught flat-footed, unprepared, or unaware. The MC will tell you who is coming at you. Interesting. Always makes things a little interesting. So let's say for this,
I'm showering.
you're showering. Let's see here. I'm just trying to think of a good one for you for this one. So the conflict is basically that potentially between you and the Reverend, if things come to it. Is your sister? Where's your sister in on this thing? Is she interested in joining the flock?
No, she's not that interested.
Okay, but he kind of
They,
keeps coming by and hey, what do you think?
they're pestering her.
For pestering her. All right. I'm going to let's see here. We'll actually get to that in play, so we'll cover that once we get on.
Okay.
But what I have in mind there. So let's go to Mark.
Yes.
Yes. So which character do you trust the least?
I'm going to. How would I even know of these other characters?
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, at this point you have
Okay.
relationships with a lot of people, including these guys.
Okay. I would say. It's a random choice between two, so I'll say Eugene.
All right. So Eugene, go ahead and spotlight any faction.
So let's go with Knight.
Knight. So Mark, Knight is all about the classic monsters: the wolf, the vampire, the specter, and others. The things that go bump in the night. So like as a right now, you're kind of pretty much serving as like you're known as like a healer basically, but you still kick some ass on occasion.
Correct.
Or at least
Yes.
that's what you like to put out there. Excellent. So, give me an idea of like I know again this is your first session, you're first stepping into this, but what are you what are you thinking might be a conflict for you doing this thing and with like any of those people?
Sure. So I would say the largest conflict that I've got is to continue to maintain my low cover that I've been building over the years in this warehousing district. And as that area becomes gentrified over time, I've had to build alliances to deal with trying to stay off the grid, so to speak.
Sure.
So this actually works out quite perfectly is that I'm constantly having to deal with the club owners in this area that are so the clubs primarily are in a crossroads of turf warfare between a whole sect of Russian vampires.
Nice.
So I'll take the stereotypical Ivan the Russian vampire. Basically, he's my current contact that I have to deal with in terms of kind of making some problems go away that I can't deal with through technology or my own kind of machinations with helping people behind the scenes. So he's gonna be my main conflict. So basically, because of the time frame that I've been around, not everything is completely digital. So I'm dealing with him and his contacts to try to maintain the property permits and things like that are kind of holding.
Okay.
He doesn't necessarily hold the lease, I would say, but he helps me kind of keep things in the background.
All right. So what's the conflict there? Where is like the problem for you? If he's if he's actually helping you, then that's not a conflict. Like where is the conflict coming in? Who's trying to muscle in on his protection of you, if you will, or his alliance? Like another Russian vampire or a different sect or?
Yeah, that's so right. So this area, my place is not necessarily huge, but it isn't exactly small. So as part of in this area, I would say one of the rival club owners is trying to expand their space, expand their turf, and so I would say. I'm trying to think of a non-generic name that has a Russian flavor, but I'm failing at that.
Dmitri.
Yeah, fair. So Dmitri is of a rival gang that's trying to find a way to buy into the space that I currently own. Sure. So Ivan is providing me some oversight, but I have to deal with Dmitri. So it's getting tense because who's going to pay off who and who's going to protect who for how long.
Very nice. Good job. All right, so go ahead and make a roll. Now, to do that, you're going to go on your character sheet. So open it up and go to the actual character sheet portion.
Yep. Roll night.
Yep. You're going to
session intro.
yeah, session intro, roll night. Perfect.
Oh, lucky.
Aaron's the only one that's deep in the shit. All right, so 10 plus. Let's see here. You're prepared for the conflict you've laid out. You get a debt on someone in that faction, or a useful piece of information or of equipment, your choice. What are you thinking is best for you?
I think that information is probably going to be the best. So, do you determine what the information is, or am I filling that piece in?
That's a good question. Useful piece. I'll give you the useful piece of information. Let's see here. So the useful piece of information is that Dmitri is getting a little sloppy. The Russians, again, once you get in the Russian mafia, whether they're mortal or vampire or wolf or anything, there's a level of brutality there. And generally they keep it in check. There's a thing called business that they have to, keep in line here. So the thing is, Dmitri is falling out. He's actually accidentally, or maybe not accidentally, killed a couple people, and you know where the bodies are buried, literally.
Got it. And would he have killed people in Ivan's camp, or just anybody that would kind of give me some leverage?
No, just mortals, just random mortals that came in, to the club, and he took a liking to, and decided he wanted to drain. But you literally know where they're buried. Excellent.
Nice.
All right. So let's move to debts, of which the other two have done debts, and they actually have already put some under you. Let's start with Aaron. What were the debts? Are you owed to Kyle?
To Kyle?
Yeah.
I don't actually have one to Kyle. I have.
I thought you did one for Adrian, and then the other one that you were going to use was you're going to put on Kyle.
Oh, but I don't think we picked it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You can go ahead and pick.
Let's see. That's a good question.
So this is a debt owed to me, or I owe to Eugene?
It depends. So if you go into not your character sheet but your playbook, so I'm gonna 1 second.
That's not it either.
Okay. So if you go to your playbook, you unfortunately won't see me do this, but opening up veteran. Let's first page. Or is it the first page?
Oh, yeah. Mine is going to be that I think pretty straightforward. The doc, he keeps me equipped and supplied, and I owe him 2 debts.
Gotcha. All right. So on Mark, on yours, the second sheet, at the lower left, you see debts.
Got it.
Okay. So there's what these guys did is they answered one of the questions for each of them, and then basically we're going round robin. So everybody has some question to answer on everybody. So for the one that Aaron just did, he owes Eugene owes you 2 debts. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then I looked on my sheet, and I do have one from the doc to me. The debt that he owes me is protecting him from something very dangerous.
I think that's what you did. We're only doing one question per. So technically, so you chose yours, and he owes you debts.
Oh, okay.
So,
I thought it was one each way or something.
No.
All right, so never mind.
Yeah, so take away those 2 debts. Yeah, take away those 2 debts, Mark. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. That was a thing. So, Steve, which one do you have with Kyle?
So I said that Kyle has a tie to my creator, and possesses knowledge about my origin that you have refused to share with me.
Ooh.
So my creators were a council of wizards, back in 18 something, one of the other new Midians, and I was created as a group of 10. There were supposed to be originally a group of 1,000, and they just never finished the job before they were destroyed. And as a result, my vessel has some instincts that are tied to just how I was built and developed. And I don't know if you've read them, but my instincts are to serve the powerful, to protect the valuable, to hunt the disloyal, and to break the defiant.
And somehow I have knowledge of who your creators are.
Yep. Maybe because you're so smart and you've been around the block.
I-
I'm also just shy of being undead myself. I
Okay.
was actually created and stitched together, by a bunch of parts.
That's
Frankenstein style.
that's cool. I have so I purposely have gaps in my history that I have purposely left open, so I have a way to weave that in. So
Okay.
that's cool.
Excellent. So they owe you a debt. So mark your own.
Yes,
Your own.
Kyle owes one debt to me.
Yep. All
Oh,
right.
how do I switch the note then?
So I've been putting the extra
Oh,
ones just in the notes at the bottom of the page.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too.
Gotcha.
Of what I owe to another
Yeah,
person.
just so you know when someone cashes it in or tries to cash it in, what it's
Yeah, what
for.
they're talking about.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, cool. All right. So that leaves you to give to share 2 of your own. So let's look at your hunter sheet. So your 3 possibilities are down there on the lower left. I'll let you figure out like who of these 2 works with any of them. And technically, you don't even have to do any of them if you don't want to, but it's a good idea to do this for just for some background and involvement and that kind of good stuff.
And it's the veteran sheet, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Oh, better. All right, that's better.
Veteran sheet 2, yeah.
Yep. So let's see. So let's just go through just for kicks. So someone relies on you for training or knowledge. Someone relies on you for training or knowledge. They owe you 2 debts. Does that sound like either of these guys or the other?
Sorry, are you looking this in the veteran playbook on the second page?
Yep, on the very bottom left.
Oh, got it. Sorry, got it. Yes.
So there are
Someone
3
relies on you
statements there. Yep. So 2 of those we want to use, one for each of these guys, if possible. Again, if nothing fits, then nothing fits, and that's okay.
Sure. I would say Eugene. So I owe him these debts because
Oh,
he's
I-
doing this for me.
I think I'll owe you.
What's what are you? Which one are you looking at, Mark?
So I'm thinking someone keeps pulling your butt out of the fire. I
You
owe them 2 debts.
Right, so you have 2 debts. So you're like owing him and getting nothing back yet, but that will change.
Okay. So
But,
I'm saying Eugene
Okay.
is helping me bail me out of situations.
Sure. So he can be the guy that comes by when oh yeah, there's a riot happening in the neighborhood, and Kyle's a little worried that things are going to break right through his door. So that's when Eugene maybe pops over, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe he's I wouldn't say maybe bodyguard, but maybe that the tough guy who comes by to scare the less tough guys off every now and then.
Yeah, exactly.
well, and that's the mortals sticking together.
Right.
Right.
Does that work for you, Eugene?
Yeah. So I'm essentially
You have 2 more
his
debts.
muscle.
You can be. We can figure out how that goes during the gameplay, but if you want, we can start there, or at least at one time this was true.
Okay, so for now, the doc owes me 2 debts for playing bodyguard.
Ish, yeah, yep. In addition to the
Yep.
the other one that came from your playbook.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, one time it was an extremely dangerous thing, and so you owe me one more.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, I need to call on somebody because if I'm not necessarily I don't want to get out of my workshop to go and do certain things. So I
Right.
need help. Does that
Yep.
make sense? And so I need to choose one for Adrian. Adrian.
fits.
Okay. So this one I think works really well is that I'm working on something big for someone and it's nearly ready. I can I play off of the fact that I know that I have a debt for him with regards to his creator.
sure. I mean, it could whatever you have can be in regards to that.
Yeah.
The fact that you kind of kept the knowledge from him is why you owe him debts.
Right.
You could have given it to him to pay him back for something, but you chose not to, so you get a debt, or he gets a debt on you. But this can be something involved in with him and his creation or creators. Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just I'm toying with how much conflict to go off of because the way that I'm thinking, I don't know if I can think out loud or not, or
Absolutely.
but I'm thinking of the gap in my history where I was playing and working in the private company and kind of investigating stuff as part of a private security group. I, the his he showed up on the radar of my employer, and so somehow I was engaged with that. That's how I can that's how I can get the connection to him. And I think the part that I would have been working on would be trying to maybe it's a continuation of that work. So I'm trying to bring down and trying to investigate further this rule of 10 people that were created. Like, why were they created? What was their motivation? Because we always, as a military company, it always felt that we were kind of one step behind this group. We could never get a step ahead, and primarily because of information. We didn't have the information to be able to actually be a step ahead. So we're always following kind of this wake of whatever stuff that these 10 people of which he was a part of were ever used for, kept kind of trying to pick up these pieces. So I'm kind of working on collecting this information that could be of benefit to him.
Cool.
But kind of doesn't make sense of like, why would I give it to him if I'm sort of continuing the work? So maybe I'm having a change of heart over what my employer was trying to do.
Sure. We can definitely go through that. And are they even your employer anymore? It's been a while.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally out. And so this is more of like a personal curiosity of, so the fact that he kind of touched, what is the general non-mortality called, like the things that make up the night and the power and the other things? Is there like a generic term for that, like the weird or the strange or something?
Supernatural.
Okay. So being mortal and having kind of touched on these various supernatural elements, it sort of built a bit of a curiosity. So I still kind of investigate on the personal side to try to understand more about what happened with regards to that. So I deal with this Ivan character, whom I may not know is a vampire.
You probably
but
do.
Is
again, one of the things I kind of want to iterate, and also check your mic a little bit. It's acting a little weird.
okay.
It's like weird. But part of the playbook of the veteran is that basically you at one time a while ago, back when you worked for this military company or whatever, you were kind of a big player in the city. You were in all the factions and everything. And then for whatever reason, it just got too hard or whatever. You kind of backed off of it and kind of faded to the background. So people kind of see you today as like a has-been, like, oh yeah, he used to be a badass back in the day, and now he's just kind of old.
Okay.
Very much a Whistler type of character from Blade.
Yep.
And the thing is, but the thing is, that this playbook plays off of those old relationships that you still keep going. You definitely have a hand in all of these pots in the supernatural world, so you absolutely know that Dimitri and everyone who's a vampire is a vampire. That kind of thing.
Okay. So yeah, then I'm just continuing this research sort of from a personal kind of keep my fingers in the game a little bit to see and kind of keep tabs on this sort of group that we just could never get ahead of, could never nail, could never kind of capture all 10 of these people. So I'm working on the details to find out who actually built and created these people.
Okay. All right. So that's a curiosity of yours. All right. That's awesome. One thing I didn't check, and maybe you had on your character sheet. Did you choose your the features that your workplace includes? I'm assuming it's very like medical oriented.
That is.
It's also that's on page 1 of your playbook, your workspace.
No, unfortunately, I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Just look through those when you have a chance shortly,
Yep.
like now. But basically, one of the cool things that a veteran has, and again, this is one of the awesome parts of the playbook, is they have a workspace, and people go to them to have them make things. This is one of the playbooks that can actually create things, as opposed to, oh, I need to get this thing, so I have to go hit the streets and, find someone who has what I want. Whereas you go to a veteran, you're like, hey, I want this made. And if it's something that they can make, that the workspace is qualified to make, then I give the veteran things that it requires, and time, these items you may have to go and get from somewhere else, etc., etc., and you can create them. And it's also kind of like your own personal sanctum, if you will, but not a sanctum in the way that this game defines a sanctum in the wizard playbook. So yeah, just choose. If you go to the first page of your playbook, you'll see the choose and underline 3 features your workplace includes. And for you, just because you're at the dock, I would say one of them definitely is a medical station, or an operating room, or both. And maybe if you what do you want to, besides and your thing can be to make people well, that kind of thing. You can be that guy, and it would work the same as building a gun. I will give you what you need to do that, and there you go. So I mean, like, for example, you could, so let's say for example you chose medical station and operating room, because this is what you do. You have a third. So the question is, what do you want to, like, be? Like, do you want to build guns, cars? Also, I mean, you were a former military, so anything goes with your background. It makes a lot of sense. Like machining tools for, like, making guns. Let's see here. A forge, if you're gonna forge like actual, like, swords and stuff like that. Portal to another dimension. Crazy shit.
So so you can pretty much have anything you want, except these are the features.
Well, these are the 3 things. Like, so for example, let's say, just for kicks, you chose medical station, operating room, and high-tech electronics and computers. Those are your 3 things. Well, now basically you can't make guns, because you didn't choose anything to make guns. You can heal people. You can do things with computers, and create new hardware and hacks and stuff like that, because those are all within the purview of your workspace. But making guns, working on cars, forging swords, these are not things you can provide anyone.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool.
Yep.
Excellent. So why don't you do that? Figure out what you like. And while you're doing that, kind of get familiar with your playbook. Why don't I start off with get these guys going, and we'll see what's what. I'm gonna switch back. Cool. All right. So where do we leave our intrepid adventurers, Adrian and Eugene?
I'm asking sort of that question too, because I have a cryptic note at the end. I know we went to the hospital. We talked a bit on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only note I have after that says, I encounter the dead, and I have no idea what that means.
Oh, Eugene was actually in the hospital room with Eric.
Outside the hospital room, correct.
Yeah, you're out.
The guy who was watching TV.
Yeah, the guy who was watching TV suddenly dies, and you're talking to him outside his hospital room briefly before he flits off into whatever specters flit off into. If indeed they flit. I don't know if they do. So there's that. Yeah, so The
I think we left about at the end of the hospital scene.
Yep. And the only kind of thing that there was like in the air was in order to get a debt from Eric, Eugene was interested in talking to his brother, a local psychic, to make him, figure out how he can get him to move in with him for a little while because he basically has to leave that body shop.
Right.
So at this point, it's a matter of whatever you guys want to do. We can break off into have some home time type of thing briefly. I want to see what at some point I want to see what your guys do at home, what your home lives are like very briefly. But this game is mostly about action, doing stuff. So that's really secondary. But at some point
So
we'll
I
definitely cover that.
I think there's 3 things that I want to do. One is to still get my shotgun repaired, but it's not a have to right away. 2, to fulfill my obligation to getting Eric a place to live, and then or move his stuff into. And 3, check in on this rumor that my sister's concerned about, or this thing with the this cult or flock.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right, Adrienne, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I escaped some of the turmoil from last session. I know he plans to go back to his, crappy little slummy apartment. But beyond that, let's see, how could I make myself in conflict with something?
You
I
can
think
always
you for a meeting with Queen Mab, and her second, Ashura.
Cool.
So I'll do that just for kicks.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so that's cool. We're eventually going to try to bring you guys together. We'll figure that out later. Not important. I want you guys to kind of do what your characters would do. Let's see here. Kyle, have you decided what you want for your workshop? What that's looking like? That'll help me kind of these next several steps, if you have. If you're talking, I can't hear you. You can do it. You can do it, buddy.
Wrong mute.
There we go.
I'm muting in case I'm typing on my keyboard because I have a mechanized one. So,
you bastard.
Yeah, I know. So no, I'm mostly just antagonizing over the decision for the character for what to do in the background in a workshop. So point of detail. What is the difference between a medical station and an operating room?
I'd say an operating room is like an actual OR where you are able to actually literally open someone straight up and do stuff. And a medical station would be more like, this is where you remove bullet. Well, I suppose maybe bullets are operating station too. A medical station, I suppose. Go ahead.
I don't know. I would imagine a medical station's more like, first aid and, light trauma care.
Yeah.
Whereas,
like the difference between a hospital and a clinic.
The office,
Yeah. You're not going to be, I mean, my background is not really anything. It's not like Dr. Strange level where I'm like doing neurological, forefront of surgery. So I'm just going to stick with the medical station and assume that I can do the basic type kind of stuff, but I'm not going to be doing brain surgery or things like that. That's a little, that's
like probably
that's too much.
Not skin grafts, but you could probably remove a bullet.
You can remove a bullet, but you handle burns and stuff like that. But yeah, if there are actually internal huge hemorrhaging traumas, it's time to take them out.
Set a broken leg.
Yep. Set a broken leg.
I mean, considering field doctor is pretty much that I think is about as far as I can go.
Sure.
And I think I'm going to go with the probably the machining tools so that I can keep myself well armed.
Mm-hmm.
And what would be badassery over time?
Probably the dimensional portal.
Yeah, that would be really crazy. I mean, I'm thinking that one or the scattering of ancient relics from being like all over the place.
Sure. Yeah, like you
Uh,
pick this up here and there as you were going all over the world, blowing people's faces
Yeah.
off.
I'm gonna go with the relics rather than my stereotypical would be the high tech electronics and advanced surveillance. That would be my characteristic, but I'll try the ancient relics.
I like relics.
yeah.
Cool. Ugh, pardon me.
Okay, so the but that kind of it sort of makes it difficult to like do cool stuff for other people.
And we can definitely switch things up
Well,
if you
no.
want at some point.
There's some guy who needs his shotgun fixed, and you have a bunch of machining tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've got a
they
vamp
might be
trigger.
visiting.
I'm sure I'm going to need at some point.
Yeah, I'm basically so the part of the thing that I do to keep myself active is I do take on special projects. So I'm gonna go with, instead of forging of like crazy weaponry, I'm gonna go with the more modern approach. So using the machining, basically I work on like custom commissions. So people that want trick guns or kind of tricked out weapons, the mother of pearl handle, 6-shooter, that sort of thing. That's kind of the role that I'm in when not trying to patch people up. So I spend the majority of time working on that, and doing the research on the various items and stuff that I've collected over time.
Like you modify guns instead of creating them?
Well, modify, create. So that's dynamic I mean, just taking on commissions for people that want something custom.
Gotcha. So now, just to kind of let you know, so with the artifacts and relics, it's kind of hard to work in other stuff except for what the two things you've chosen. So like, we can say that some of your artifacts helped heal, that kind of thing, or we could say, let's say you were commissioned to make a holy weapon, a holy shotgun.
Sure.
I would, because you have this artifacts relics thing, I would say, oh, I'm for his requirements to make this. I'm not like, if he didn't have this, I would send him to hit the streets to find something to bless this with, to make it holy or whatever. But because he has artifacts relics, that's not like, I will not make that a requirement. If I was going to, I will consider that crossed off the list already.
Okay. Actually, that's quite cool, because that was the part in Constantine, which I found incredibly interesting, is that they just came up with all this mystical gear. That's kind of the archetype that I'm thinking about.
Cool. Maybe definitely work with that.
Yeah. So there will be stuff that I have to go out and get. I mean, if I don't have the gear, or I need to research, that's where the information exchange can come from, is where, I didn't pick the collection of books, so I can't do research. I can't actually imbue anything with magic, so I'd have to actually work with somebody to get extra stuff if I didn't happen to have it.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. That works really well. Perfect. So I'm going to jump to the guys real quick. We're going to do a quick scene for each of you to kind of get established, and then I'm going to kind of do my best to bring you together. So let's start with, how about Steve? What's your thing? We're going to be visiting. What's his face? Is it him or her?
I want to say Eshra is a her.
Hers or her? Okay. Now, is she also from the Winter Court, or is she like a mercenary from a rival court, or?
I think she's from the Winter Court. There's plenty of evil pixies in the world. It doesn't have to be evil, but maybe just misunderstood.
They're all misunderstood. Nobody's really evil. Let's
Does
see.
anyone really understand the fairies?
Yeah. So, in going to see her, Adrian, going to see her, what are we looking for? What's your goal here?
What is my goal here? I think I've been trying to bargain with her for a way out of my need to serve the wizards.
Gotcha.
If anyone knows, workarounds, it's it's going to be the Fae.
Gotcha. All right. So why don't you hit the streets? Let's do that.
Sure.
Let me bring this up real quick.
They're pretty hard to find.
Well, no, well, not just that. As Steve well knows, but I'll bring this up for everybody else. So, when you want to get information, you want to get a thing. It's not enough to you can't just say, "Oh, I look on the internet and buy something," or "I call this person." It's just not enough. For this game is a game of social interaction and drama and webs of intrigue, and to do that, you have to actually hit the streets. So you have to actually get out there, go to a place, do a thing, meet a person, and see if they have what you want. So that's why we're rolling this. So go ahead and roll with Wild.
Nice.
Partial success.
That's 7. Nice.
I would assume for the purpose of play that would be information, but on a 7 to 9, choose one. Whoever you're going to is juggling their own problems. Whatever you need is more costly than anticipated. I'm going to go with the second.
Ooh, nice. All right, cool. So, where do you meet her at?
I usually meet her.
Did you find her a normal place where you've seen her before? Or?
Yeah, it's actually let's say that we'll assume she has the ability to glamour herself a little bit to look human, and she has a wicked caffeine addiction. So I always meet her at a coffee shop.
Nice.
Perfect for a Fae.
Yeah, that's what you need, a caffeinated pixie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So so you meet her at what do you call it? The Star Dollars.
Haha.
Because you don't want to infringe on anything.
Yeah.
It's there again. There's kind of parts of town where each faction is kind of carved out little pieces. This happens to be in one of the Fae areas, right on the border, actually. Being a pixie, she's kind of adventurous. She likes to take risks. Not so much because she likes the danger. It's basically she likes taking risks because it's an easy way to get in trouble and say, "Oh, but it wasn't my fault. I was within our territory, and then suddenly this thing happened, and I had to beat the shit out of him," type of thing. So you meet her there. She's like three venties deep into her evening beverages. She looks up to you. She's kind of say she's very in this form. She's very she's short, obviously. She's 5 foot, let's say. She's very wiry. She has that kind of being Fae, and again they're from a foreign land. This is not their natural place. This is not their natural dimension. What have you? She doesn't quite know how to make human. So she still has her eyes are a little bigger than they should be. Her head's a little bigger than it should be.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the uncanny valley.
Exactly. Well put.
And just to retcon a little bit, I'm looking specifically for a way to escape Julian's leash.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So the you basically come in, you see her. She has she's winter court. Let's just say she has white hair. It's kind of like that platinum blonde, we'll call it. She's always kind of ready to move. You get the feeling that as a Fae she was a traveler. So she always has like one of those coats with all the pockets and a backpack with her. Just something that kind of blends into a crowd. But if you had to bug out of somewhere real fast, she'd have enough to survive for a while, that kind of thing. So you walk in and she sees you immediately. It's almost like she was waiting for you. She
Yeah,
kind of,
I go and
yeah, she gets a
sit
smile.
down. Like,
she notices
look
you
deep
sit
in your
down without an
cups.
invite. What was that?
I said, you look deep in your cups.
She's
Any
like,
troubles?
she, downs this last one and puts it over there. And it's like, she must have some kind of agreement with the it's not a barrister. Barista, excuse me. Barrister's a lawyer. The barista, that when she's done, another one comes unless she gets up. And you can already see him frantically, foaming away, etc., etc. And she smiles at you. Again, she's amused that you sit down without her invite. And she's like, "Can I order you anything? Or do you even sleep? Do you need caffeine?"
Like, caffeine has never had the same effect on me as you.
What does it do?
Nothing.
So sad, so sad, so sad. And the barista brings by the new one, and it always has her name on it. And she must frequent here like all the time and spend a lot of money because they're only too happy to fall over themselves to serve her. Like, it's kind of brave for you to be on this side of town.
There's not a lot that would hinder my progress if I needed to be somewhere else.
I suppose that's true. Like, do you even feel fear? You know what? I don't want to know. And she's like, so it must be pretty important if you're actually crossing the border to come over to Faytown. What's got you up and what's got your dander up?
I'm still looking to get out from under Julian's thumb.
Well,
and word is,
mm-hmm.
the Fae know a way to break that command.
Well, it's kind of complicated. I figured you'd come with this question sooner. I'm surprised it wasn't sooner. I mean, we are kind of friends, wouldn't you say?
I have been doing my best to give you the information that Julian has wanted to keep from you.
But you've also busted up a bunch of our places. I mean, why even do that? Why just not come to us and ask this question first?
Something of my nature requires me to obey Julian.
Well, we'll see about that.
As much as I try to work around it, it usually wins.
That's fair. He's kind of a prick, that Julian, isn't he?
He's not someone I would choose to serve.
Interesting. There are those that you would choose to serve, though.
And I'm doing my best not to give her too much.
All right.
Last thing I know, one is the Fae ordering me around too.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can see she's being a Fae. She is all about the deal, so she knows what questions to ask, what questions to
Why
insinuate.
not? While she's asking these questions, why don't I try and figure her out?
Awesome. All right, another first for the campaign. Let's see. So, another cool thing about Powered by the Apocalypse is one of the other moves in most of the games is some sort of figure someone out. So this is like you observe someone and you're trying to get inside their head. You see their mannerisms, what they're looking at, what they're not looking at, what they're betraying, what they're not betraying, and that allows you to try to figure someone out and ask some questions about them. And as a MC, Master of Ceremonies, I have to answer those questions honestly. This is not a game of subterfuge between me and you, the player. This is we're looking at the way the fiction plays out, and then the move plays out that he's now triggered, and we're just going to go with it. So, go ahead. Let's roll with wild again. And you've already marked wild, yes? For the other move? Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
Just in case you forgot.
I'm not rolling wild with this. I'm rolling mind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it's not a faction move.
Oh, sorry. I got Abuser.
And
Yes,
I
roll
miss.
with mind. All right.
But I am in her faction, so I can ask an additional question even on a miss.
Yes. Which one do you
Um,
want?
I'm going to go with what is she hoping to get from me for payment?
What is she hoping to get from you? She is hoping to get complete betrayal of what's his face, Julian. She wants him to lose. She wants him embarrassed, and you're kind of key to that. You're the one that he actually allows near him, that kind of thing. As far as he is concerned, you're in his pocket. So yeah, so what she's hoping to get from you is the path to bringing him to his knees.
And that was a miss, so feel free.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think what's a good one here. Let's. So I'm gonna have her ask a question of you.
You
She's
could
been.
probably ever ask me too.
One is good. One is good. Let's see here. Let's see. How could I get your character to kill Julian?
And I think maybe because I'm desperate, and I'll answer this very truthfully.
As you must.
Prove that he is disloyal to his other wizards, or have Queen Mab order me.
Ooh, serve the powerful. More
Yep.
power. She's more powerful. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Awesome.
And that was the part that I was actually hoping to avoid telling her
Right.
earlier.
Right.
But it's almost like, the words just pour out of me when she asks that, I have to,
Well, and keep in mind, this is not necessarily a verbal interaction here. This
No.
is a mental.
But maybe
Feel-
it's, maybe the fact that I was trying to, skirt past that earlier in the discussion, by having to serve Julian, that she knows that I can be ordered to serve others.
Gotcha. All right. Leave it at that. All right. So you did get a hit on your when you're hitting the streets. What she is going to tell you, she's like, well, all right. So to get under from his thumb, what I want you to do is, and this is important, and this is going to come into play later. I just need you to get a lock of his hair. And then that road to freedom for you starts, my friend. Can you do that for us? A full lock, not a little strand, not a little plucky pluck. We're talking a lock of hair. From Julia. I know subtlety isn't exactly your byword, but try. And she kind of raises an eyebrow. Can you do that?
It doesn't need to be stealthy.
She will laugh at that. You can only imagine. You're kind of known for being that big lug thing. It's like it doesn't have to be at that. Well done. You have your marching orders. March, march. And it's about that time she downs her next cup of coffee. Another one's fastidiously being made by the barista at that point.
And I will take my leave.
Excellent. Perfect. All right, let's go to Eugene. Where are you going? What's your thing you want to do? Are you there, buddy? You might be muted if you're saying anything.
There we go. Sorry. I was going to follow up to see if we could still get the shotgun repaired, but since...
If you want to do that, we can easily bring Kyle into play.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do, yeah. Yeah, awesome.
We'll do that. And then I want to stop by my sister. Actually, I need to fulfill my obligation to Eric. So
Okay, let's do which do you want to do first? We're only gonna do one, and then we're gonna probably have you head to Kyle's for the gun thing, or elsewise.
then let's fulfill the thing with Eric.
Okay.
Get that out of the way.
All right.
So, his brother, you said, was a psychic.
Yep. He is a psychic on the other side of town. Actually, not ironically, somewhat closer to Kyle's place.
Okay.
So what's his brother-in-law's or brother's name? Eric's brother's name.
Let's call him Alex.
Alex. Cool. Perfect. All right. So yeah, you kind of follow the instructions to get to Alex's shop, and you may have even been by there once or twice. Let's see if actually, you know what? This is a good opportunity for you to roll. I'm going to have you put a name with the face.
Okay.
All right. So
how do I do that?
I will show you. You go to your. We're looking at the basic moves. This is a faction move.
Faction. It's a faction move.
Yep, it's a faction move.
Put a name to a face.
A face to a name. I think that's what
put a face to a name.
Yep. So when you put a face to a name or vice versa, roll with their faction. On a hit, you know their reputation. The GM will tell you most people know about them, and we can get the rest depending on how you roll. So go ahead and roll with power.
Roll with power. Ooh.
On your put a face to a name. Nice.
Partially succeeds.
Excellent. Let's see. On a hit, you know their reputation. The GM or the Master Singers will tell you what most people know about them.
What's that?
So basically, for that success, let's see. So Alex is known for being the guy who brings bad news. He's actually, so he doesn't make much money. If you look at most psychics in the business, their whole business is made up of telling you cool stuff that's going to happen to you. Nobody wants to pay, $60 for a reading and, get told that they're going to die of, a horrible disease in the next 2 weeks. You don't want to, don't want to be foretold about an accident or that their kid's going to be born ugly or stuff like that.
You'll get a hammer to the head.
So he's just known for being just uncannily truthful, and it just so happens that a bunch of the stuff that he's truthful about is not stuff that people generally want to hear. So he doesn't do a lot of business. There are some who just admire him as a psychic and see that he's a real psychic, and and then go to him because even if it is bad, it's best to know the future in their mind. And others who are seeking, stuff from them.
Okay.
So, let's see here.
So let's say Alex lives in a remodeled railroad car.
Interesting. Like remodeled.
Like it's been pulled off the tracks into some old piece of track that is no longer attached.
Gotcha. So is it like a real house? Like he has like a little steps going down and flowers on either side and stuff like that, and this has just become his address?
Something like that, yeah. It's definitely his address. Like he's built in stairs and it's stationary.
Gotcha. So it's, for all intents and purposes, it's like the same as an RV. Just happens to be a railroad car.
Yeah, it might even be like an old Pullman car, so it's actually got beds built into it and
neat
renovated kitchen and whatnot.
Cool. Yeah, you walk up to his place, and again, you're familiar with him. You know his reputation, and he possibly knows you. And in fact, he probably does from afar. It's hard not to know one of the most notoriously deadly hunters in the area.
Especially when I pull up in my yellow and black. What is it again? I forgot what my car is already. I'll describe it in there.
Camaro, hopefully.
No, it's a Shelby.
Bumblebee.
It's a black and yellow Shelby Mustang.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably makes some noise as it kind of idles out front before it turns off.
Yeah.
He's already like out the door and walking towards you to keep you, as if to like, keep you away from his house. It's like death
Well,
can't
then
go in
I'll
here.
let him walk. I'll let him walk all the way up to the driver's side window. Then
He kind of sticks his head over there. You're kind of like parked this way. His house is over here, so he has you roll down this is, by the way, for you kids, is the motion to roll down your window when you actually have to roll it down, which this
old
thing
days.
does. So he's like he does the roll down thing, and he's on the passenger side.
okay, I've got my Eugene's wearing his super dark sunglasses. So Alex, I'm going to take a guess. You know why I'm here.
Oh, he's like Eugene, that never gets old. That never gets old. I've never heard that one before. Yes. Oh, yeah. Never
Seriously, man, have you heard about your brother Eric? Do you know he's in the hospital?
Yes. I heard he's.
Do you
in the
know that he's got
hospital.
no place to operate from, and that the wolves have taken over his location?
I didn't hear about the wolves.
Well, he needs a place to stay for a little while until he can get back on his feet.
Literally, like, doesn't he have a broken leg? He's a mechanic.
Yeah.
He's a mechanic.
And he's going to need help moving stuff too.
And and he's just kind of a very, he wasn't built for lifting things. Let's just put it that
And
way.
he owes back rent.
And he owes back. He's like, he's like, have you, he like points back to his house. It's like, as if like, like I have all this extra cash. He's like, all right. So he sent you here to pass on the message.
Well, yeah, and to use my charming good looks to convince you to let him stay with you.
He kind of shakes his head. He's like, there's really no good way to do this. I know you. You're a professional. You're not going to just work over some guy because he doesn't do what you want. I get that, but let's just say you delivered your message and be on your way. All right, I'll see about taking care of him. This is between me and him.
Okay.
He's like,
I'm going to have to check back sooner or later because he does work on my car. So
he's like, yeah. You see over there, he kind of points down the old track to where the old this is where the cars would have pulled into during weather type things, when they're being stored. He's like, yeah, I'm sure I can clean some crap out of there, get him working again.
Sweet. Then he'll be in your wheelhouse.
He does the face palm. It's as if Patrick Stewart, he trans-channeled Patrick Stewart. It's like, oh. He's like,
well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's between me and him. I got you. He's like, if you're ever looking for a reading, though, you know where to come to, right?
Did you say a ring?
A reading.
Oh, a reading. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, how do you do your readings?
And he goes, he does a Eugene impression. He actually uses the entrail of animals to do his readings. And he's like, no, I don't. That's disgusting. Nobody does that. Nobody. It's just
one could hope.
simple aura and palm and, looking you in the eyes. And I don't even want to tell you what I see with you. So you go now.
Oh,
be gone.
all right.
Be gone, foul hunter.
I'll roll up my window and quietly gun it away.
Okay. So basically it was kind of a weird type thing, but what you've done is you've done a favor for Eric, so he owes you a debt. The debt actually comes into play now, as opposed to last time when you requested, because you actually did, but you already have it on your sheet, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I have Eric owes me one debt for getting his brother-in-law to move in with him.
Right. So actually,
Or
that would have actually
vice versa.
you would have actually gotten the debt like right now when you did this for him. Now you've done him a solid. Now he owes
Okay.
you. So just
Now he owes me.
there's nothing to change, but this is the more appropriate time to give you the debt. is what I'm
Gotcha.
saying. Just to kind of put it out there. So when you actually do something for somebody, there you go.
Okay.
So cool.
So is that something that I can mark a faction with?
The which one? Put a face to a name. Yes, that was with power. So you mark power.
Oh, I think I already have power.
Oh, I think you did beginning of the session, right?
Let's see.
Or was it power or was it no? It was night you marked. So you should have it on your sheet there.
Power is the one that I newly marked tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else?
So
what
the last one I'm trying to fulfill is mortality.
Oh, gotcha. Right. And
so now it might be time to cash in a favor with the doc.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Awesome. So yeah. So did a couple moves there. Awesome. Like I said, one of the things I'm also trying to do is slowly get you guys introduced to the moves. You'll do them just by default. Just basically what I want you to do is just play your character, and I'll stop you when it's time for a move. So don't just get out there and roleplay, that kind of thing. Ooh. Oh, Dr. Ocular had a question. I'm sorry I missed you. Does he foretell alterable futures? And actually, a good question. What the heck is the playbook? In the Oracle playbook, it's all about alterable futures. The playbook is, I foretold a bad thing that's going to happen, so now I get +1 to try to avoid it since I know it's coming, that kind of thing. So yes, in this fiction, we're definitely going to say that it can be alterable futures. Good question. Let's see here. Cool. So let's go to our veteran. Are you about ready, buddy?
I think so. Yes.
Excellent. All right. So we meet Kyle the Doc Ito. We just call you Doc, or is the Doc what you want to be known as?
Oh, Doc is fine.
Doc, excellent. All right. So yeah, Kyle Ito, also known as Doc. You're probably I wouldn't say elbow deep in somebody. But who are you working on now? Who's in your office being taken care of?
Well, actually, I am working on a commission at this point in time. I don't know if I can do moves right away, but there's one possible one here. You can tell me whether or not it makes sense. So I'm working on a commission, and yes, the whole Constantine thing made me think of this. So what I'm building and have completed is a Colt 45 Peacekeeper that the barrel was formed out of iron from nails that I took from an occult temple in Ireland on one of my travels. To pair with this, I have created 64 cold iron bullets that work with the Peacekeeper. I'm holding 32 of these particular ones. The number means nothing other than it was fun to come with a power of 2. The 32 of them are going in the bandolier for the person that I'm building this for. The purpose of the cold iron, I'm going to make the gross assumption that the Fae are still susceptible to iron. So the commission, if I can play a move, my thought was to use it to a power had employed me to perform this act. So my goal was to complete this, and basically I would be at the point to I was planning to get out of my workshop and go do a delivery.
Sure. Yeah. So now
or is that too soon?
No. This is fine. So let me just cover a couple things. So now again, for when you're going to craft something, it's going to take some time, or I'll give you things it takes. But this is the first episode, and we're getting kind of integrated, so this is actually a nice segue.
Okay.
So we'll do a gimme here, and that's fine because it gets the fiction, and it's something you would have been doing. This makes total sense. So basically, let's see here. let's see. So you're looking to hit the streets to get to find your guy and get payment.
Correct.
Does that sound right? All right.
That sounds correct.
All right. So who are you? What's the name of this guy and who is it?
So this is a very unassuming. So would it be best to go with one of the particular factions? Can I make it up? Is there a goal, or just go for it? Does it have to be connected? Does it have to be connected in some way?
Well, so I'm not quite positive what you're asking. So like you can create any character you want right now. This is how NPCs get created.
Okay.
There's two ways to do it. You can make one up completely new, or look on our list of NPCs here that I popped up. And let me up to just in case you don't have it. Right here.
Got it.
So you choose one of them that matches what you're what you want to work with and use them.
Oh, perfect. So I was commissioned by the Reverend James Ackle to build this sidearm. Oh, that doesn't make sense because he is hallowed, where all life is sacred. That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, he's all life is sacred there.
Okay.
You'd want it just to destroy it, so no one else can have it. Which
yeah,
you would never do. That hurts you too much to see your creations destroyed.
That would be bad.
I said, man, you can make one up if none of these fits what you're looking for.
Yeah, I was thinking of pulling in another immortal.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just going for it. So this immortal is unfortunately newly immortal, if that's a possibility. So his name is very unassuming. Unfortunately, he's been blessed with the name Stan. And
does he have a last name?
Collar.
Collar.
Colhalr.
Halr. Excellent. Immortal. Perfect. That works.
So he happened to I happened to get a name through a reference of a name, and found out that he just wanted to have a little extra protection in case he happens to get and deal with the pesky fae. From his perspective, the pesky fae.
Sure.
So that's what I'm going to. That's what I'm fulfilling.
Okay.
So
cool.
I would be.
Yeah. So let's hit the streets. So roll with power. A miss. All right.
Dope.
So let's say you get to his place. Does he have like a mansion where he stays? Is he like a rich? I suppose he's a new immortal, so he hasn't really had time to gain a lot of stuff. But he's just known as the guy who doesn't die right now.
Right, newly discovered. So kind of an unassuming flat, but in a slightly better neighborhood than what I would say Alex was living in. Not in the train tracks, but definitely in the vicinity. Not quite in the best of neighborhoods as of yet.
Okay.
So I don't look out of place when I'm driving there in my pickup truck.
Gotcha. So yeah. So you kind of pull up in your pickup, and how do you carry the gun and the bandolier? Is it like in a case? Is it like just folded up in blankets or something? Or
yeah, folded up in a shoulder, like a student's shoulder bag, satchel kind of thing. So nothing ornate, just basically put in kind of a messenger bag.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing sophisticated.
Cool. Yeah, so you get there. You kind of walk up to the front door. He opens it and lets you in. It's like you're saying, it's kind of unassuming at this point. Immortals who've been along for forever they've gathered all this stuff. It's like the Highlander thing where he walks into the room, where the circular room with the huge skylight in the middle of Manhattan. This room alone would have cost him like $10 million, even at 80s prices. They have rooms like that full of stuff, and so far he's just the guy that doesn't die. Can't die.
Yep.
So he goes. He basically lets you come in, and you kind of gestures to his table, and you notice there's already 2 drinks that are sitting there, 2 beers, and they're almost empty, but not quite. And he's like, "So you got the thing?"
I do. It is completed and ready for delivery and payment, sir.
Let's take a look. So he's like, now what kind of noise does this sucker make? Would you say?
What kind of noise? Well, it's based on a Colt 45 Peacekeeper, so it is going to be a pretty big boom. No silencer. So you will definitely draw attention, and what you shoot at is going to, assuming it is Fey, will definitely feel it. As he opens the messenger bag and begins pulling out the gun, the bandolier, and the belt of bullets. Sets it onto the table.
Nice. He'll kind of do the thing where again he doesn't he understands you've been around for a while and maybe you haven't been in the game for a while, but you're someone to watch out for. So he kind of runs his hands over it. Even though he's immortal, runs his hands over it. He doesn't do anything so rash as to pick it up and point it anywhere in your direction or something like that. But he kind of touches it. It's obviously it's a piece of art pretty much. It's put together just the right way. And so he kind of feels it. Takes one of the bullets out of the bandolier and kind of runs his fingers over it, and kind of just examines it. Not that, and you get the impression that he wouldn't know if this was a really good product or not beyond just aesthetics. He just isn't that guy. Why
Right.
he wanted the gun in the first place, you don't know, but you don't ask a lot of questions to people who don't threaten you. Don't threaten your interests. So he's like, he sits down and in the chair, with the gun in front of him. He's like, "Did you hear that, Julian? It's gonna make a mess. It's gonna be loud." And from the back, kind of like, a little embarrassed that he got called out. Julian, and actually, let's do a name with a face for you. Put a face to a name, or name to a face in this case. So roll with power. Okay. Excellent. A 9. So let's see here. The reputations. You won't say what most people know. Okay, so Julian, what you know about him is what we know about him, is that he is kind of getting ready. He's at odds with the Fae and the Tenderloin district of the city. It's all about some ley line, some mystical stuff that generally you don't really give a shit about in your blind business. But that's the big talk in the street. He's a mage of some repute. Still, not terribly old for his abilities, which makes him exceptional in the wizard community. Generally, these guys are old and wizened by the time they get powerful and incredible. But yeah, he's like, you see him walk out, and he's just wearing street clothes. Is not they don't go around wearing robes all the time. These wizards. He walks out and takes a look at it. Kind of has his hands behind his back and bends over. Like, he looks back up to you. He's like, "That, sir, is a work of art."
Appreciate your assessment. Was not expecting an additional visitor here with Stan.
I'm sorry if that has anything to sour this deal. I definitely have your payment, and in fact, I am providing the payment. He kind of reaches into his jacket and brings out a little cloth, something wrapped in it. He unwraps it, and it's like a little carved pyramid. And you recognize it as like a sister artifact to something that's already in your collection.
Excellent. Which I'm not going to say out loud, but my nature's a bit more reserved than the miserly look. Excellent. Well, I am delivering you a quality piece, not necessarily questioning what you're going to be doing with it, but thank you for the prompt payment.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even think of welching on something like this. This is art needs to be patronized, not pilfered.
Excellent.
think?
Exactly. I agree. I put a great deal of time in this. Definitely put a great deal of time in. Just to remind you, the iron was the iron that I used as the shells was taken from an occult temple. So I'm sure it will have the correct punch for whatever cold iron will affect.
Excellent. Good night, Dr. Arculari. Good night for now. He'll be back. He always comes back.
I'll have to play Marvel Spider-Man.
That's all I know. So, what are our viewers? Yeah. So he's just kind of he does actually pick up the piece and kind of feels its balance and everything. Points it at the far wall, and
There are no rounds, just to let you know, there are no rounds in the revolver, by the way.
he's like, I always follow the standard rule and assume it's loaded. I would never point it at anything I wasn't ready to obliterate.
Excellent. This is well known for that. Not sure if you're a fan of old Western movies, but this is definitely the peacekeeper of the West.
Perfect. And at that point, Stan kind of looks up to you and kind of is like, "Did you want a beer before you go, or you have business?"
Uh, Unfortunately, I have business. I will be, you know how to reach me if there's something wrong with the hardware. I'll definitely be able to guarantee my work, of course. But barring that, I will. Appears the two of you were having conversations, so taking my payment and my leave.
Like, very well. And both of them stand. Gentlemanly thing to do is someone leaves the room, and Stan lets you out the door and lets you back to your pickup, and with a pyramid in hand, and all is right in the world. So, something I want to point out for the sake of just kind of explaining the system. So, on the hits of streets, you got a miss. So what
Yep.
that means is a miss is not necessarily a failure. It can be a failure, but in this case, what I chose to do was to bring another party into it and entangle you as your miss. So you succeeded in doing what you want. You got your payment. You got your thing. However, there's now another level of entanglement that you're in one way or another. When someone dies with that bullet, they're going to question where the hell it came from, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And now you know a name that you're probably well aware that Adrian also knows. Basically, you know that Adrian is in some way related to
Julian.
Julian. Is that a correct assumption, Adrian?
Yes.
Is it? Excellent. Okay. I suppose you would have to in order to kind of have this place in your life to eventually have the knowledge of how you're made and all that kind of good stuff, where you came from, who made you, etc., etc.
What's most entertaining is I did not know Julian's background and that he was having odds with. I mean, I didn't know when I thought of the commission that Julian is working at odds with the Fae. Oops.
Perfect.
I didn't. I honestly didn't think of the two until like something. That'll be a bit of a conflict.
Well, that's what it's all about. The idea is that the role play develops into this, kind of web of things going on.
Yep.
Cool. Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break because we're about halfway through.
Okay.
Be back in 5, and then we'll I'm going to try to bring you guys together.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Play music.
See you in 5. I have returned.
Welcome back.
Greetings. Excellent. Just waiting on Aaron.
Breaks and everything. All right.
Yeah, quick one, you know. Thank you for making it tonight. I know that you were kind of pressed for time also, Mark, there. I appreciate it very much.
I'll say occasionally it lets us sleep too.
Aaron's back. We're all back. All right. Get this party started. All right. So, I'm trying to think of how we can rope you all in here.
So technically, I'm on my way back to my warehouse / workshop. That's
Right.
my current
exactly.
objective. So the only one I don't know where. So where did Adrian end up at after meeting the pixie?
I'm actually
Nowhere
gonna.
specific.
I'm gonna bring Adrian in here. So Adrian. Excuse me. I keep pronouncing that incorrectly. It's Adrian.
Better than Scion or Skyon.
Skyon. It's Skyon, damn it. Yeah, so I'm going to say, Adrian, you're going to get a call from Dimitri, who you have some kind of relationship with. He's, as you know, he's a vampire Russian mobster at the same time, very volatile combination. And they probably used you as like you aren't in in the vampire faction infighting. They probably used you before as like a bouncer or some muscle just to keep the peace. Since you're outside their circle, it doesn't politically impact
Yeah,
anybody.
I mean, I do quote unquote menial work, and that would qualify.
Yeah, yep. So he's going to give you a call, and he actually would like to meet you over by Doc's workshop. Some stuff is going down, and he needs your help. He's willing to indebt himself.
We'll meet you there.
Wow.
As I put away my flip phone.
Here with does one of the numbers not even work anymore, so you have to you just lose track of people with who need that number, and they're
No, if I talk to her right, it will work for me.
there. Yes, that's true. Very good. Touche. All right, so let's start the scene. Let's start the scene with Doc and Eugene. You're back at the Doc's workshop.
Yes. So
You want to describe your workshop since it's the first time we've seen it?
yes. So it's basically. I'm good. So again, as you get into the area, you get into this club district, and you basically have to kind of go down a back alley before you can actually get to a freight elevator. It's large enough to be able to get a vehicle in and out, but it is just in kind of in the back part of what, on the front side, you see all the glitz and the glamour of all the neon from the club fronts and stores and things like that. But once you get around to the kind of the back or seedier side, that's how you actually enter in. It's not a studio type workshop, so it's pretty old, but you can get in. You have to go through checkpoints. There's a couple, what do you call not man cages, but kind of the cattle corral type kind of entry, just at least provide a couple layers of defense before you get in. And it's essentially kind of a large open area with just stuff around. So it's kind of an open, pretty open space where you can get a vehicle in and just kind of work on stuff, target range for shooting, and then as you get into the back, there's kind of like outbuildings in So it's large open area, but then in the back, as you get in past the freight elevators and stuff, you've got the kind of the living spaces. So, and then as you get in, there's area for kind of hang, meeting, TV type stuff, and then there's kind of a command control area for cameras and everything, and then there's medical, and then you start getting into the workshop area, which is where you can see the machining equipment, guns, other type of stuff. I do not have my relics and whatnot out for visible, but you can get very easily to like the medical area. So it's kind of one of the first things you end up seeing as you get in, is sort of a scrubs area, cleaning, that sort of stuff. You would recognize it when you need to get patched up. Like you mentioned, it's kind of like the easy area on the veterinarian kind of clinic. It's in good condition. It's not all gross and nasty from old bloody wounds and stuff. I mean,
but there's still like a drain in the floor, right? And it's tiled, right? So it's easy to just hose off.
Yes, there is of course a drain in the. I'm not doing medical experiments. That's for sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Little stereotypical, but cool, I think, because there's kind of the freight elevator thing can take you up to a upper floor, and then I've got firing ranges to be able to test guns and test builds. So like I think of it as like a downrange plus kind of an area that's kind of charred and little maybe explosive testing. So you would wonder, how can you get away with that in the middle of a city where you're actually testing guns and gunfire? But it's taken care of.
Nice. Cool. So
although I would not be working on Eugene's car.
Is it too low rent for you or what?
Too low rent. Yeah, no skills with the cars.
I see. Oh, I see.
Yeah, that'd be another person in the team of my past.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Cool. I'm assuming Eugene's probably been here before, right? Like probably a lot of times.
Yep. Yeah, so he knows how to get through the security pieces and that kind of stuff. So mediumly trusted enough to be able to figure out how to. I'm assuming he's driving, so it's a way to get his car in and get in and out. So very industrial kind of thing.
Cool. Excellent. So yeah, Eugene, why don't you pop in and see what you can manage with him? You got that shotgun needs some repairing, and you're muted.
Yep, and you're muted. Mute. And
you're extra muted. No. No.
Check your headphones.
Different mute. Different mute.
How about now?
No.
Yes, now.
Hey!
All right. New headphones, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta adjust my volume again. All right.
It's pretty good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, great.
Wait. Okay, one more time. Test 1, 2.
Yep. Here just
okay. Sounds good.
All right, now I can hear you. Great. So, yep, pull in, close the door, turn on the security as needed, and pull out my antique silvered shotgun and yell out across the way, "Hey, Doc, I got a shotgun with a unhappy trigger."
Eugene. You keep breaking my good work, okay? You're supposed to shoot things with the gun.
Well, this one
not hit
wasn't.
It with the gun.
Yeah, I had to put it down a demon's throat, so what can I say? It also tarnished some of the finish on part of it too, so I don't know if that's something we can take care of, but
for you, I'll put some time in.
Excellent.
Put some time in.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, so how's biz around here?
Good. Still being able to kind of keep my head low and still managing to keep out from under the vamps. Always a little bit of a juggling act.
Yeah. Haven't seen Ivan around lately, have you?
I try not to see him too much. Actually, I'm just trying to deal with Dimitri at this point in time. But I think I've got Dimitri's been giving me a couple problems, but I think I know a thing or two that'll keep him off my back and consequently off Ivan's, which is always good to help me keep a low profile.
All right.
So I can take care of that. Might take me some time to get repaired. Usually, if you've been cramming something down a demon's throat, it might take a little more than just a buff.
Yeah, that's okay. I can still make do. So I may just have to sit away at sniping distance if I need a weapon. So
Always respect the snipers. So yeah, can hang. You know where most of the entertainment is, and I can get working on this.
excellent. Time to play some Forza.
All right, we'll cut to outside. Right outside, Dimitri is meeting up with Adrian. Right outside Doc's loft.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, how does Adrian get around the city? By curiosity, have we covered that?
He has a beat up car, old sedan. Say it's like an old Corolla.
Okay, so this is not He doesn't try to pick up chicks a whole lot.
You know, it's.
I'm just trying to envision this fast getaway vehicle.
Right. I work what I need to work, and material possessions aren't a priority.
Right on.
That is fair. That's fair. So yeah, you pull up to the front. You've been to the Doc's workshop before, outside, inside too. And Dimitri's already there, and he has this worried look on his face, like very like get out of the car, talk to me now, type of look.
Yeah, I get out and I look around. I'm like, what seems to be the problem?
Is it? Should I attempt a Russian accent? I'm not sure how good my Russian is.
No, I was not trying to go for character, so you're.
Adrian. you know Doc, right?
I know the Doc.
Yeah, we're gonna go meet him real quick. I got work for all of you.
All right.
And you see another, like up above, Adrian would notice, there's a couple figures up on top of like this first level of this building, just kind of looking out. You get if you like oh yep, another vampire. type of thing. It looks like there's lookouts going on here. This is a thing. So yeah, Dimitri he puts an arm around you. He's a big fat mealy guy, but he still just wears that the tracksuit pants and like the tank top. It's not the wife beater, white tank top, and it shows all his tattoos, the ones that like for the Russian mob that show like this is what his crimes were, this is what his qualifications are, this is how long he was in jail, by how many
so much,
how many steeples. And worst of all, he's like really hairy. He's like Scott hairy, where it's like it's like a like the wife beater's holding down the hair, and like it comes out like a poof ball over here. It's very terrifying to the common observer. But nobody really fucks with him because he's Russian mobster vampire. This is possibly the most violent combination of three things I can think of.
He has to take his victims by force. Or he's not going to seduce them in his big sweatpants.
Hey, you, come over here. Here, right here.
Like Dimitri, I have no issues with the Doc.
No, we're not going to rough out the Doc.
Nor do I plan on it.
Oh, no. I love the Doc. Doc is my buddy. We're not going to rough him up. He's my druga. He's like, I got some others for you to worry about. He kind of hustles you in. And so, like, Doc, is there, like, when you first, like, is there, like, a bell to ring where, like, there's cameras looking down?
Video camera, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doc, that big Russian sweat stain is outside.
Yeah, they're it's not a incredibly advanced. It's not going to be like, extraordinary security, but it's the basic kind of stuff that you would want to be watching a back alley. Like if you wanted to infiltrate and cut the camera, it's not that sophisticated, but it's enough to see what's up, what's what.
Gotcha. So you hear the buzzer that like that's extra loud and probably lights up a couple
Yep.
lights inside your workshop so you can be aware of it no matter where you are.
Exactly.
It goes off and you kind of go to the the screen where you can see your cameras cycling through, and this one is on focus. And you see Dimitri in his his like sweaty tracksuit, sweaty wife beater, and he's like has a phone in one hand, a wave in the other, and Adrian is like right next to him. Like this is like I'm not sure. Does Adrian understand the concept of personal space? Or would Dimitri having him this close to him at all times be not a problem? Or is Adrian not?
I understand personal space, but it's more of don't invade mine because I need to make sure I can defend or
Yeah, he's totally all up in your space. He doesn't give a shit. You're like his biggest buddy for the moment. That could change in a heartbeat.
And you definitely see me looking at him like, what the hell are you doing?
Get your mealy hands off. So,
Doc, is it too late for me to change my order? I want a big spiky mace that kills Russian vampire mobsters. Something holy,
That might be a little difficult. But I could, I'll take it under. I'll take an order. I don't deal with melee too much, but I'll see what I can do. I might know a guy. Yeah. Thanks for the heads up. Walk over to the buzzer thing, and yeah, Dimitri. What do you need?
Yeah, I need to talk to you. I'm bringing Adrian in. You know Adrian, right?
Yeah. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do know Adrian. Something I can help you with here at this exact moment? Now, this is just you, right? The rest of your compatriots will be standing outside.
Oh, hey, yeah. No, I would never do that. It's just me.
Like, there's
Okay.
2 on your roof.
They're not in the workshop.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Totally different. Yep. I'll be down to buzz you in.
You don't have the little buzzer up there? What kind of place is this? It's gonna take.
Yeah.
Hey, I got work for you guys to do. Come on now.
All right. So, yep. Click off and say, I grab my pistol just in case, and take the freight elevator down, and just before I shut the door, be like, Eugene, if I'm not back in a couple minutes, maybe come take a look. If I can pull you away from Forza. So yeah, I head down and check through the door. Of course, check through the people, make sure it's both Adrian and Dimitri, and open the door, buzz it. All right, get in here.
He gets in. He pulls up his whoever he's been talking to. He's done. He pulls up his phone. He also uses a flip variety, maybe for nostalgia. Pops it in there.
Nice.
He's like, him and Adrian shop the same cellular provider. I still offer those.
Yeah.
Burners Weekly.
There it is.
Motorola Razr Retro.
Those are I owned a Katana at one time, and it was a pretty sleek phone, I must say. For its day, it
Slick.
was awesome. So yes, you guys are taking in.
Yep.
Take the
Head in. Freight elevator up. And yeah, head over to kind of the living space area. And all right, Dimitri, what is it that you need this time?
Oh, it's like that. We don't even have a drink first.
Ah,
Did you have that vodka I left last time?
I do.
I hate to be. He's like he kind of like a stage whisperer. I hate to be such a cliche, but Russians never start a deal without vodka.
Yep. I forgot. You're right. I should know. So go back into the kitchenette, of course, grab 4 glasses, and get out and pour a healthy dose for each person.
He's like, he points to the 4th glass, and he's like, "Is that for me too?"
1, 2, 3, 4.
Does he see Eugene at this point? Is my question. Does he know that Eugene is there? We haven't introduced Eugene as being in this particular scene.
Oh, sorry. I had assumed that he was there because we're in the upstairs area and Eugene would have been there. I didn't know if he was hiding out.
Oh, he would have seen him.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I came up and pulled as I came up the freight elevator and pulled the thing open, you would have seen.
Oh, gotcha. All right, cool. I was just picturing it differently. That's cool.
Oh yeah, got it. Yep. Now, pour a couple drinks, get the glasses out, and there you go, Dimitri, to your good health.
Or something.
Or something.
Hey, he pops it back like it was water, basically. Being Russian and a vampire doesn't really faze him. He's just not even sure he goes into it for the flavor or the tradition, one of the two. But yeah, so he slams the shot glass back on the table. Ah! Little piece of Russia. Feels good. Right here.
Excellent.
What is this work you have?
What's that?
Like, he's like, what is this work you have?
Oh.
You said, you've all heard about the little fairies and their issues with the mages, yeah? It's hard not to at this point in time. Wouldn't you agree? He specifically kind of looks at Adrian at that point.
Like, I'm aware of the conflict.
Is this a ley line thing?
He's like, the hunter knows something.
A couple.
Yeah, it's definitely obvious he knows your reputation, but he's kind of the guy that he's like, you stab me in the face? Well, let me have my shot first, and then I'll think of it's like he has to be the tough guy. But
always in the know.
Always in the know, always the tough guy, always doesn't give a shit until he's dead, which is a bad time for him. But yeah, so he goes, the ley lines. So difficult to say. So the clans are being pulled in one way or another. They're getting involved in this themselves. I don't know why. Unfortunately, I'm not the head dog these days, even in my faction, in my clan. He's like, the vamps are taking sides. And it's never pretty when that happens, don't you think?
Yeah, you guys usually stick to your territories and don't worry yourselves with the rest of things.
Yeah, well, things change. Power changes hands. You know how it goes.
Just as long as I can try to keep out of what y'all are doing and keep my space.
It's like I need some muscle, and I need people in the know, and maybe some patch jobs in the future. I'm willing to bargain for them, if you're interested.
Now, is this are these conflicts located in a particular place, or what are we looking for?
And what side are you on?
Oh, sides! You have to go sides already, Adrian. Oh, that's how do you say bad etiquette. We haven't gotten there yet. I want to know if you're interested in jobs, and then we talk. Which side on? It's just sides and sides and sides and here, sides and sides there. I'm just trying not to get a stake through my heart at this point. You know, you work with what you got. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what he's saying.
Yeah,
it's like the narrator. You don't know what he's saying.
Trying to keep up here, Dimitri. Yes, trying to keep up.
Yes. So he's like, I'm looking to get some, I got some pull with Dimitri, Doc. And I'm thinking, you do this for me, maybe I can work something out there.
Wait, what?
Wait, pull with Ivan or pull with Dimitri?
With Dimitri. He said Dimitri, right? Did I say Dimitri?
I thought it was me. I thought this was Dimitri.
No,
Yeah,
this
me
is,
too.
This is Ivan. The main.
Oh, this is Ivan.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ivan.
you
The main.
originally said
Ivan's the
Dimitri.
main guy. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
Dimitri was the one who called, but we're meeting Ivan. Is that right?
No, I think I must have screwed that up. I meant Ivan
You
the
did.
whole time.
Okay.
I apologize.
Oh,
Okay.
This is Ivan.
Okay.
It's Russian names, man.
Okay.
You get them mixed up. Ivan.
Got to
It's
mix
Ivan.
them up. Okay. Oh, so that changes greatly. Yeah, I
this
so-
definitely.
is a warmer welcome then, I'm sure.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
much
sorry.
different.
I do apologize. I
Yeah,
totally messed that up. I
Well,
apologize.
yeah. Okay. Yes, Ivan, you got it. What is it? What is it that I can help you with? You do me a good solid. You do me a good solid by helping me keep a low profile. So what? I'm willing to talk.
So, job I have. Bit of violence. Maybe blood. Probably blood. Well, blood violence, you know how it goes. One follows the other generally, depending on what kind of creature you're fighting. He's like, there's this, he's like, kind of looks around, conspiratorially. He's like,
There's no bugs. There's no bugs here, Ivan. You know this.
he takes the bottle and pours himself another shot and downs it.
except for the arcane Egyptian ones. Those are
Yeah, exactly. And they will only eat your flesh if you're human.
right.
No big. He's like, so we need, how do you say, a distraction, a big one. And, you might bust some heads, you might, you definitely have to break into some place and not be too subtle about it. Well, what do they call that? The mage sanctum? Is that what the kids are calling it these days? The sanctum? He's an up and comer. He's not really that powerful, but I just need you to kind of mess up his place a little bit.
Messing up a mage's sanctum.
No, not the sanctum itself. The building it's in. You just gotta go. You go and you go. Hey, little knick-knack. I take care of the chef, and oh no, I fall and you break, and then oh no. That's all we need. And if if he has a guard or two, the guards get dealt with, And I know some people who are really good at that, and I'm looking at least two of them, and
Who is the wizard?
Well, you keep breaking the etiquette. We haven't talked to yet. What side? You don't want to know the names and the details. Oh, Adrian, I gotta show you how to do this sometime. Look at how quiet these two are. Listen. They're not asking questions yet. You don't ask questions until you're in. Anyway, and he kind of looks at the three of you. He's like,
Mage's sanctum.
Yeah, it's just a little.
I don't think that's such a great idea. It's I think that's got to be worth something. Yeah.
That's going to be worth a big something.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, I'd owe you those things. I'm sure. If you happen to run across one of those, special magic glowy knickknacks, maybe that's yours. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe there's a small nest that's falling out of favor that you want to give up a location for that
Ooh.
I might just hear about.
Let's say I owe you, and then we talk about that in the future.
All right. You owe me. I'll call in a favor. Or I'll call something else in.
I know how your kind works. Don't worry. He's like, Adrian, I know you like to get in and bust things up. and I know you're not a fan of mages so much. Is that a problem?
It depends on who the wizard is.
Oh, it's an almost no one. It's what was it Kyle Lagrange? Kyle? I don't know what. See, why don't you roll the face with the
Yeah.
name?
I'll do
Who?
that.
Hold it. I'm gonna back
Just
to
eight.
Power.
yeah, roll with power.
Adrian only.
Yeah, Adrian only. He's the one I'm asking. He's kind of triggering it.
Oh. Dang, even with a 2+2, holy.
I am. Let's
That's-
see
So what does
here.
that do for me?
Let's
Nothing
see.
good.
You don't owe them, or you owe them. I'm gonna say, for the sake of this, the only thing you know is that this is kind of what Dimitri describes. For once, he's actually being like forthright, and that he's really more of a lowly up and comer. I'll give you that much. And again,
Okay.
a miss is not a failure. It's just that
Yeah.
you don't get what you necessarily paid for, so to speak.
So what was this? What was the person's name
Uh,
that is in reference to who owns the sanctum? Ivan. One more. What was the guy's name?
was it Kyle Lagrange?
Lagrange.
Nice.
Like,
Is that something that I could guess to base it on? Like, would it be something I would think about as like I might know this person or not done a commission, or is it only?
Let's see. For you actually have a move you could potentially use if you really wanted to. If we let's see here. So I'm gonna bring it back to the basic move. And
Old friends, old
yeah,
favors.
yeah, old friends, old favors. Let's look at that. Let's see.
But I have to declare them. I have to declare them an old friend instead of
Yeah,
putting a face to a name.
yeah. So this is for this. It might not be as wonderful to use. Basically, on a hit, they offer you comfort and aid, even if this is more if instead of
Yeah,
yeah, if this was something like you were trying to get something from them, or
yeah.
you know,
Like I
interact
need
with
a bolt hole. I need a bolt hole or something like that.
Yeah, so as you can see from the way the move works, it's not something so much as like it would give you an advantage in this case, where you're looking to just break your shit up, essentially.
Yeah. So to me, Ivan, a mage. I'm not as familiar with this one, and if we can do it a bit anonymously, like you say, make some noise. I think with some planning, might be able to. I could. I normally don't try to step out and do these sorts of things, but you owing me a solid would be worth it to me.
Right. Hey, you a hunter boy? What do you think? You in? Old Ben's in.
So get inside of a building, take out some bodyguards, and what else?
Just break the place up and then leave. When things get out of hand, get out. That's all.
Just break the place.
You're a distraction. You're not the main. You're not the main thing.
All right. But the main thing is happening in that building too?
Nope. Elsewhere.
All right. It's an important point.
Oh yeah. We talk points now. Okay, we can talk points. See, Eugene? See, Adrian? This is how it works. You little by little step, a little step, and then you get to the big thing. These little steps.
After you've sold your soul. Right.
So,
Yeah, all right. And for all of this, you're gonna give up a small nest. Is that right?
well, I'll owe you. You call it in when you're ready.
Like only 3. Like just 3. Like 3 that have been bad. The 3 that aren't really listening to you.
To kind of frame what's going on. So he's going to basically owe you a debt. At some point, it's an indeterminate debt. You can use it for anything you want from the list when the time comes. But this is basically he'll give you a debt, but he won't promise you anything. It's your role as the debt to at some point afterwards, after you've earned the debt, to come in
Cash
and
in.
claim something.
Yeah,
and then,
no, I
and then
get
that's
it.
when you add for it. So yeah, okay, you can
That
loot
doesn't
to it.
change me from. That doesn't stop me from playing a character, though.
Oh no, yeah. I just want to make sure you understand how
Well,
the mechanic works. So, but yeah,
once-
he won't. Oh, go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you look over at cash in a debt, you could probably have him give up some of his friends for that debt.
Right.
But the thing is, he hasn't actually done the thing yet. He has to earn
Yeah,
the debt first.
after we're successful, of
Yeah.
course.
After you do whatever, then he's in your debt. So in order to get a debt, you have to do something for someone. You can't just say you're going to do it. That's the distinction. So
Yep.
there's no debt
Okay.
yet until you actually do your thing. But yes,
Right.
so that's going to come in. So yes, absolutely playing. And he'll he'll.
So I do this, and you'll do this for me, then.
Yeah. We'll tiptoe around it. But but you come to me when you're ready. And then he'll look at Adrian. He's like, "Oh, big man, we need you on this one. You wanna mess up a skull of a servitor of a mage? Wouldn't that be fun?" And he kind of looks. He has like a little gleam in his eyes, like a little kid going to a
Like-
toy store.
I don't know this mage, so I'll do it for a favor.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
I'm sure he's been a bad boy. If that helps. Would Dimitri know anything about your instincts or anything, or would he have known you long enough to see your?
Unlikely, because I don't.
You mean
well,
Ivan?
One, this is Ivan.
Ivan. Did I say Dimitri again? God damn it.
Yeah.
Dimitri, Ivan.
Ivan.
I like Dimitri better. Dimitri's a better name, but Ivan I'll go with. Yes, Ivan is awesome. So,
If
yes,
he's
Ivan,
not that
Ivan.
high up, probably not. I think just based on the way you've characterized him, it's not someone I respect. So
Cool. Excellent. He's like, and he's like, this won't. I'm sure things will be things will go smoothly. Everything's be fine. You got the, and you know what? We send the doc with you, and you got you got patch up job if you need it. And he kind of reaches out and touches Adrian. He's definitely seen Adrian take like a couple bullets to the chest, straight center of mass, and just kind of laugh it off and walk away. So he's like, "Oh," he kind of points, thumbs on your chest, and he's like, "Not that this one needs it so much, but if you," and he kind of does that weird stage whisper thing towards Kyle. He's like, "But if you ever went through a metal detector, I think it would set it off like nobody's business." As if like you guys can hear him.
Yeah.
So is there a time and a place to this?
Yeah. Tomorrow night. You got some time.
Oh, tomorrow night. That's
Yeah. You go
short
in, you
time,
go in, you
Ivan.
break things, you go out. No planning needed for that. Come on now. You're professionals. Right? Ish. Somewhat.
Good professionals plan. You know this, Ivan. You know.
I know, but that's why I come to you guys. I trust you. I trust you for quick jobs. But we gotta pull it off tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Address.
He'll give you everything you need.
No, I want it specific.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
I don't want to. I want to. And someone like Googles the address I give off, and suddenly,
Yeah, exactly.
a mage lives there. Oh my god! If only, right? But
All right.
That would be
I think we're all in agreement. Anything else there, Ivan?
it's like, no, that's all we got. More vodka? And he kind of pours another one for himself, and offers it around.
I'm good. And I go
Sure,
back to
Ivan.
playing Forza.
You're a good man, Ivan.
Yeah, I always got work for good people like you guys.
Oh, shit! I'm on an ice track now.
Ivan kind of shakes his head. He doesn't get that whole video game thing. It's a little,
Yes. Little too
outside
old
of-
for that.
yeah, a little too old, a little outside of his thing. But he's like, I'm gonna let myself out unless you need other stuff. I gave you everything you need.
Yeah, we'll probably need some stuff. Need to be able to get something to be a bit distracting. Is there any time how long they need to be distracted? Just
you
keep
doing your
keep it
thing.
light.
No, just keep it light. When things get dangerous, you get out. This is not a suicide mission, as they say.
Do you have any idea on the number of guards?
Oh, details you don't know. You don't need you just go. Easy place to break in. You break in. You bust some things up. You bust a couple of heads. You get out. You don't need to know how. It could change. I don't know. I don't know these things. That's why I hired you.
Uh,
I owe you.
Sounds good, Ivan.
You don't owe me. I get you information. That doesn't very good for you. He's like, I let myself out now. You just be professionals. And I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
And he's like, call me.
Fortunately, he knows not how to get in, but I do escort him out to make sure that he successfully gets out and doesn't go rooting around in the bottom on the lower floor.
Excellent. Yeah,
I trust him, but not that far.
Fair enough. Yeah, he has no problem with you. This is to a mobster in general. Like, this is your sanctum. He's not going to mess with you here himself. That type of thing.
Yeah, with no bodyguards, but he is a vampire, so
he is a vampire and he's an asshole. So
yeah,
you gotta account for that kind of stuff.
So once he's gone, I'll drop the game, and Adrian, I think I want to go take a drive by this place tonight, just so I know what we're getting into, and maybe even look at it through a scope from distance. Do you want to come along?
That would be a good idea.
Doc?
I will trust. I'll trust your oversight. I probably need to work on the shotgun. Would be my guess. I'm assuming you're going to want to bring this along with you. I can do my best to at least get the trigger finished. Maybe not the buffing of the tarnished steel.
Yeah. Well, that may just have to be like the notch on my bedpost, I guess. So.
Damn, that's a fucked up visual. Damn. Yep, sticking a gun down a demon's throat and blowing it up is like sex, but awesome.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
Let's hop in the car and go.
All right.
And I will work on repairs.
Cool. That'll work for. I'll say the cost for doing this is it's a really, really simple job. It's just the time. There's nothing you need to go out and get at this point. Right now,
Yep.
I'll just have you spend some time. I'm gonna have you do Doc do a little scene solo in the background, but let's first have Adrian and Eugene do their thing.
Yep.
So as we're driving over there, and I'm playing a little Metallica, Creeping Death, low level, we can talk. I'm thinking that if there is anybody watching, then this should actually help maximize the effect tomorrow night, because they'll note this car tonight, and then tomorrow if we pull up in the same car, yeah, it'll put them on alert, but also, even more distraction that way. What do you think?
I was never really instructed with tactics and battle plans.
Oh, all right. Well, it's a good plan then.
We do need to
Trust me, I've done this 100 times.
Guards, and if there's magic wards that we might have to penetrate.
You can do that? Penetrate
can't.
magic words? What?
I said you can't.
Why, no, I can't.
Good skill.
Not unless they can be like shot off the wall or something,
Wow.
Funny.
If you've been attuned to the energies enough, sometimes you can go through them.
I didn't study when I was younger.
But
all right.
I'll make a note that as Eugene is driving his car, it's almost like You know in those movies where like the guy's looking away as he's talking, the camera's coming through the front windshield and he's has his hand on the steering wheel and he's driving and he turns and he's talking to the person in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, and it's like they're doing it for too long. It's like they should have been in an accident like a minute ago. You know, for Eugene, it's like breathing. The driving his car is breathing. It's like he's looking at you. He's making meaningful eye contact. This is what people do when they respect each other and they talk to each other. And his cars brake or swerve into the lane, and he just kind of reacts to it without really even taking note of it per se. It's just kind of reflex. He's driven cars and dangerous things and done dangerous thing with them for so long. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, I take his skills to kind of like the level of Baby Driver, or what is that movie? Is that the name of the movie?
Yeah,
that's the movie.
I never did see it, but yes. And if I did see it, I wouldn't admit to it. So
I've seen it 3 times, Scott. 3 times. It's that good.
I will write that down.
So, anything interesting as we drive by the place?
Yeah, so you just triggered investigate a place of power.
Woo!
So
Nice.
Roll with power, please.
Roll with power. That's right. I do roll with power. His name is Adrian.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. All right, roll with power for investigate place of power. And that's power, so that's like that thing.
Yeah, you guys haven't buried too much.
Scheisse!
Scheisse! That's all right. Okay, so when you investigate
Except
a place
that
of
would
power,
probably be in Japanese. So.
so when you investigate a place of power, roll the faction that owns it. In this case, power. Like I said, you guys have been pretty power focused, except for Adrian tonight. Well, I suppose some night also. When you investigate a place of power, roll the faction that owns it. On a hit, you see below the servos the reality beneath. On 10+, you see you can ask the MC one question about the schemes and politics of the faction question. However, you have a miss. I'm gonna say as you guys are going by, are you kind of like doing the couple times around the block thing, or what's your plan for?
Yeah, very, very inobvious, and a black and gold.
Yellow.
Should have
bright
taken
yellow. Black and
should have taken the Corolla.
Yeah, should have taken
Exactly.
Should have taken the Pinto, the Pacer.
Yeah, what's that movie where like the person's like, oh, okay, just steal a car? Yeah, he's like, well, what does it look like? Well, it's this beautiful blah 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 blah. He's like, so it's describable. Get a different car. Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, whereas,
No, the first drive by is just a drive by.
Cool. All right. What you guys you drive past is like it's in like the downtown area. It's like there's a how can I kind of describe it? It's like it's not a skyscraper. It's a building. It's like a business building. There's like the glass, the completely
like
glass
5 stories or something.
Yeah, it's a small one, like 5 stories. But the first like 2 stories are like the glass and all around the sides. You can see inside to like the front desk and the banks of elevators and stuff. There's like 2 or 3 or 2 on each side, I should say, total of 4 serving these ones. And it's not a huge building. It's like 5 stories.
All right, then there's a slightly screechy U-turn and coming back and parking across the street.
Cool.
From it. So driver's side window, I can see, the whole face of the building.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, you definitely you look it over. You being a trained weapons guy. You know if it's one thing, it's weapons. You don't see very many guards. There's one at the front desk. There's like 2 near the front door.
I rattle this off out loud to Adrian since he's not a tactics guy.
Yeah, and you notice that you can't. The guy behind the desk, you can tell that at least he is like militarily trained. in the sense that you can kind of see him. He kind of observes things. He moves here. He takes the stuff in. He moves to another. He doesn't stay in one place too long, where his eyes gets lazy or his gaze gets lazy, where he starts not noticing things. And he needs to kind of, you can see he's kind of dividing his time up. He needs to observe all around him. The two guys at the front door, they don't quite stand with any military stance, but they're definitely armed. They both have concealable sidearms and a shoulder holster. You can see the telltale bulge. Probably nothing too large. This is probably some kind of 9mm or something like that. It's definitely, these are definitely armed guards, but you wouldn't call these guys top notch. The ones at the door.
No, they give away their weapon by leaning up on the water cooler.
Yeah, exactly. So so they're basically I'm kind of for the lobby. I'm kind of envisioning almost like the what was that the Netflix Marvel dragon guy. What the hell's his name? Dragon Fist. Iron Fist. Like the lobby of his building. That has a couple guys. The whole place is glass. You have the two guys at the front, and you have the again the reception dude. Before you get to the elevators, that kind of layout.
Okay. So then, keep going. Turn the corner. Is it the building on a corner?
It's more like on like the center of the block, if you will.
Okay. So then, now it's off to find a rooftop somewhere so I can look at it through a scope a little bit. Get a 3/4 view of the building. See if I can see the top of the roof. That type of thing.
Cool. So I'll just to get you guys the ball rolling. One of you guys knows somebody around here where you could actually watch, take a look-see from their apartment.
You kind of muted for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm going to say that one of you knows somebody who has a apartment in the vicinity that you could actually use to look out of. So which one would that be? Would you think?
No, I don't know. Am I on mute? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Adriana or Eugene, which you think would have somebody around here?
I mean, I don't have a wide network of friends.
Gotcha, and that's okay.
More Eugene, but
yeah, that's true. Well,
basically, I'm looking for somebody. So one of you guys is going to hit the streets and have a friend. So I'm kind of prompting you to do that at this point.
How about a casual hookup type of friend?
Sure. All right, why don't you hit the streets?
Seems appropriate. Seems appropriate for a hunter.
What?
I'm gonna say, or what faction is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very very good point.
How wild do we get?
Can it just be mortal?
Oh, absolutely. If you want to be boring,
I need to mark that one.
Yeah, no. This. You choose what you want. So though I'm prompting you guys for this kind of thing, this is exactly the way you want to use these moves. Like, okay, we need to find a place to look, observe the place from here. So, oh yeah, you know what? I know that chick, Crystal. That I kind of dated / danged. Is it danged? Here and there.
Currently holding spot number 2 on my screen.
Exactly. So it's I know Crystal, and she has an apartment near here. And in fact, I think her apartment is just where I need to be to look at it. And then that would prompt the move. But again, so just to kind of keep in mind, this is how the system works. It's like you don't need to know everybody. You don't need to have every contact written down. That's not important. We can make them up on the spot as you need them. This is part of the system. And then now with the hit the streets, it tells you how available they are, or whatnot, that kind of thing.
Cool.
All right, hit the streets. Mortality. Oh, dang it!
He's sucking. And unfortunately, you can't help on a faction move. So, you get to her apartment. I'm saying it's probably it's on a 5th floor or something like that, 6th floor. And she has an okay place. She, you're not even actually sure. You don't care to know her enough to know what she does to earn her money to get a place. But it's an okay place. But basically, as you get there, you kind of go up to her apartment, and as you like knock on the door, it opens by itself.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh,
Hand on hole. Crystal?
Nothing. What's Adrian doing?
All right, I draw my sword out.
I'm just preparing to back him up.
Like from behind?
Well, I mean, for me, it's not. I mean, the fact that a door is not open doesn't, raise concern until he starts, drawing his weapon.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that's kind of cool though. I hadn't thought about that because Adrian doesn't get these little cues of things sometimes. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
He doesn't get it. It's like, oh, is there danger?
Does the light? Do the lights work?
No.
Flip. No.
Nope, flip. No.
Oh,
There is light coming in from the window, the very windows that you want to look out.
You can see in the dark, right, Adrian?
Not well.
Uh,
oh no.
all right.
I mean, however, I can.
I pull out a tactical light.
There
One
is
of
a
those-
possibility I can see in the dark.
There.
Perhaps I need to open my senses and use my
Ooh.
blind fighting training that I've been
Oh,
taught.
Nice. You want to let it out.
I want to let it out.
All right. So again, for purposes of explaining the system, let it out. Here. So let it out. When you let out the power within you, roll with spirit. On a hit, choose one and mark corruption. So part of this letting it out is letting some of the corruption inside you. On 10 plus, ignore the corruption or choose another thing from the list. There's 4 things on the list. So let it out is kind of a catch-all. Again, you see the options there. Take 1 forward on your next roll. So basically, you get +1 to your next roll. Extend your senses, supernatural otherwise, which is what Adrian's trying to do. Frighten, intimidate, or impress your opposition. Very cool. Take definite hold of something vulnerable or exposed. And this is both in the metaphorical and physical sense. So, again, this could be their confidence, their footing, that kind of thing. And it also is a catch-all for all those supernatural powers that your playbook theoretically has that aren't covered by other moves.
But mortals can do it as well. For instance, the hunter could be like he could let it out to have like I don't know, remarkable aim or something to get a bonus on the next roll or to
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen it used a variety of ways.
Yeah. So you can see how he could, like the hunter, if he'd used it, could be like, "Oh, I'll take 1 forward," and that's like, so when I have to, this thing jumps out at me, I have +1 to roll on it, that type of thing. So it's
Okay.
Yeah, and again, I'll prompt you guys for a while, but eventually, I think you'll get the hang of it. Yes. And did you?
So I'm gonna roll spirit.
Yeah, roll spirit, please.
Oh.
oh, come on, dice. Dice.
Yeah, the dice hate all of you guys tonight.
I mean,
know what it is.
I go into that room first to see if I can sense anything. Do I sense anything like something hitting me really hard?
No, you'll. So you go in. Describe how you go in. I want to kind of get a feel for how Adrian enters a dangerous room.
I mean, he walks calmly into the room. I mean, using a very little light that there is, but you see him turning his head this way and that, sort of using probably more his ears than his eyes to get a sense of the room.
Gotcha. When I think of him like moving into dangerous places, for some reason I always picture like Jason, like this, not giving a shit about anything, just kind of walking at a normal pace, no matter what's happening. Or guns, just doesn't care. Just kind of, I want to go there, so I'm walking over there.
Sometimes.
Not in a rush. So yeah, he walks in and he's starting to kind of case the place as best Adrian could. And slips, and next thing you know, he's on his ass.
Something wet and red.
Yeah, wet,
Yeah.
and it's wet and red, and you. It's at that point as you do that, you kick over a lamp that ends up flicking itself on. So like basically like you have the lamp shade. As he kicks it over, it kind of hits itself, turns it on, and with the perfect beam, like it's almost like a spotlight that comes off the way it's positioned to where you're now laying. And Crystal is over there, and she's also a little over there, and she's definitely that red nasty spot underneath you, which is now soaking in your clothing.
I double check the hallway.
Nobody. It's quiet. It's a calm night.
Oh, Crystal. So sorry. So vampire. What's the laceration?
It's more like ripped apart.
Oh,
She did not go easily into that good night.
like a wolf.
Or Adrian could have done this. That kind of, it's like by strength alone type of rip.
All right.
So it's hard to tell really without getting a better idea. And this is another like let it out type of thing could be used for, is to investigate things. But at this point, it's not necessarily. I understand it's not necessarily a priority for you guys.
Well, the proper thing here to do is to call the police. I think we should do that.
Really? And I look down at what you're obviously holding a short sword. Like,
She wasn't cut to death.
I'm not entirely sure how the law works.
Okay.
But I
Well-
also know that we shouldn't be here when you do call.
I don't think so. I mean, I have slept with this woman
did this
before. I think I better call the police.
There's some of your DNA in the area, is what you're trying to say?
Maybe. Why don't you go down to the car?
I'm not carrying anything,
Assuming you haven't
Suspicious.
stepped in that. Oh, you slipped in it already.
Oh yeah, I'm soaked in it at this point.
Oh.
Like whatever did this was not human.
So, detection-wise, if the police show up, is that a problem for you, or do you show up okay with them?
I don't know what they would
With
find.
mortals in general, I guess.
Like, I don't know what they would find.
All right, I'm calling the police.
Like what is it you call DNA?
Well, they're not going to take samples off
Unlikely.
of you. They're just going to question you.
I was with you.
Yeah, I mean, you were with me. We were in the car. I was coming up to see my girlfriend. That's it.
All right.
Like, I look around. Is there any, does she have like a laptop or, a phone or something out?
Yeah, she'd have a laptop.
Like, I go over and I look at it and I'm like,
Dude, you were
I
like
look
tracking.
back and, like, this has a camera, right? Don't they all have cameras?
You're asking me or Eugene in character?
Eugene.
Oh, yeah, it should. Yeah, see, right there. Oh, and look, that little flippy thing, it's open.
So I turn it on. And I'm going to commune with it to see if it knows any secrets.
All right. That's awesome. Let's see. I'm gonna look up your move here.
I'm not calling the police anymore.
Cameras and microphones are always recording, regardless of whether they're on or not. So
That's what they say.
Now that we've slipped, fallen, and tracked it over to the computer, police time is done.
Yeah.
We're not stealing anything.
Yes.
All right. So this is let's see here. So this is the Machinist.
Machinist.
Is that what it's called?
Machinist.
So I'm going to go ahead and roll that.
Excellent. So this is when you commune with the machine, roll a spirit. How do we do?
Ooh.
Not on that page.
I got a partial success.
Yeah,
All
succeeds partially.
Excellent.
So I'm. Hopefully this will be applicable because I really don't want to know anything else. But what secrets are hidden here, friend?
And what does communing with the laptop look like, Adrian?
It's not one of those hacker montages because he's not actually typing anything. But different windows and screens are opening and closing.
Does he like touch it, stroke it like an old, a pet or something like that? Or
yeah, I mean, he has one hand on the keyboard, but none of the keys are being pressed. And then one hand, sort of adjusting, the monitors, portion of it.
Gotcha. Do you actually say the question out loud? Is that part of this process?
I don't have to, but I think it makes sense if I do.
Okay. So so
Aaron, I'm like,
Eugene,
what have you seen? What are you hiding?
Yeah. So Eugene, you hear this, and you see, like, again, you probably see, like, he's not actually doing much, but like things are, on the screen.
I mistakenly think he's talking to me. What am I? What? Oh, what?
That's cool.
Yeah, so he's so you see like stuff filter through. You see like windows open and close, files kind of like drift across the screen, and what it brings up on the screen is like I know it's not. To be honest with you, I don't know. So I don't use Tinder. I don't know if there's actually a website. I don't know if it's just on the phone or a website. That's how fucked up I'm. So it has a website in this
Some
universe.
other dating site.
It's a dating site. Yes, a sexy dating site. And it does bring up like a profile of.
Ignore everything it says on there about me.
Oh, I totally do not do that. But you see a profile that gets brought up like it's like a chat thing. And you it's like so you see like the person's face. So you see Crystal. She's not mangled up enough where you don't recognize her face. It's right here, and it's like, oh hey, can't wait to see you later tonight. And then like this other, this next blurb comes up, and I'll let you put a name to the face, and this time with Wild.
I can try that.
Does it look female or male?
Male.
Who's that guy?
Oh,
nice.
That's a success.
All right.
I'll tell you exactly.
yeah.
Okay. And also, I just want to point out that I now for the faction moves, you may notice I'm only allowing like one person to do them. I'm trying to pick the most applicable person, so we don't have like 3 names to a face. It just doesn't really mesh with what we're trying to get done here. Just a note, generally speaking, if there's a faction move to be made, I'll have one person who's makes the most logical sense to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so put a face to a name. Let's see here. So you have a 10+. You've dealt with them before, learned something interesting, useful about them, or they owe you a debt. Which do you want? Do you want something useful or
first, who is it?
This is. Let's say. I'm gonna have to put my picture. This is.
So you know this guy.
Yeah. This is, let's call him John Wilkes. He is a tainted. He's a demon or ish.
Let's go with interesting and useful.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So this is put a face to a name. I will say that the demon that John Wilkes serves is a very, very well known ally of the what do you call it, the court of summer, a fake court.
Okay.
Interesting factoid for you there.
Like this one. I just point to the screen, and the laptop's not even on. This one serves a demon that's allied with the Fae.
Hmm. Well, it just made the list.
Nice.
His name is Wilkes. John Wilkes.
Pardon me just a second. Sorry.
No problem.
So is just as a quick, a vessel can have can like misses like, because they're not really an actual full person, so they have most mannerisms, but they sometimes do not get every subtlety. Is that
Yeah,
that's
I mean, he's been around a long time, so he understands some, but
there's just some things.
Yeah.
kind of a loner as well. So
Yeah. Plus he's
Cool.
Wild Faction, and Wild Faction is all about they're aliens. In some
Okay.
fashion, they are aliens.
all
to
the
our
wild
ways.
factions just don't fit in.
Got it.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, so
John
I'm gonna.
Wilkes, tainted.
Yeah.
I got get a picture of that on my phone.
Yeah. No problem. Cool.
Also, since I came up here to actually scout the building, and I assume I didn't bring the whole rifle with me, just the scope.
Right.
I'm gonna
I hope not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look out the window while I'm here.
All right.
Complete my own mission.
Okay, cool. Now, so another, just because we're getting used to this. So okay, so you already rolled once and failed, or not failed. You got a miss, but now you've done the cool thing and you've changed the circumstances. So because you've changed the circumstances, you've given yourself, something, a better way to do it. Maybe now we can roll again. Normally, I wouldn't let you roll again because you've already, spilled that milk, so to speak. Because
Okay.
you've actually taken the action to change your situation. Change your tactics or whatever. Now is quite a good time to do the.
Okay, so
the roll.
I should try to
You're going to investigate a place of power, and you're rolling with power.
more.
Oh, you've changed the circumstance because you're looking at it from a different angle, different experience.
He went
Okay.
through the trouble of getting to this place and doing
Got
all
it.
this, and now that allows him to re-examine things.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right.
It's okay. So yeah, you are you're kind of looking through the
I
thing
got
with
a
the
4
scope.
for those who are playing at home.
Yeah. No, it's I put that one up on the screen. Sorry.
Oh, you do.
Yep. Yeah, you guys watch the stream sometime. You'll see. I do try to, when I can, switch between the different screens to show what's happening and that kind of good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So okay. So 4. So you have your scope up. You're looking through. It's like an electronic one. It's like a basic one where it's just like mechanical put together glass. Or is it like like an electronic scope with little blinkies on it, where you look through the thing and it's like that kind of thing.
No, this is it's high powered, but it's not like enhanced in any way. It's just a high powered scope.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of pan it across, where you're looking, kind of like going through the lower level first, then moving up, then over, and at one point you're doing your thing and you see one of the security cameras down there. As you kind of move past it, it kind of goes.
Looks at me.
When you look into the abyss, it looks back at you. This camera is the abyss.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna cut you guys off there for a second. We're running out of time. I just want to make sure I get back to Mark real quick, or I'm sorry, Doc.
Doc.
Yes. So Doc, you've done your thing here. Who do you still know in the city? Like, do you have family left in the city? I forget how that worked with your background. You're muted.
Just a series of contacts of people I've worked with in the past. No family. Even the people from my, I don't think anyone from my unit was even around anymore.
Gotcha. All right. So,
just quickly scanning.
Nope. What that old lady at the VFW?
I mean, I could have contacts, yes, but my intent is to not only craft up, considering we were supposed to have some level of be a distraction. I was going to potentially craft up some Molotov cocktails for
Oh,
distraction.
nice.
I mean, per Ivan's instructions, I don't know if we're supposed to be subtle or cause a distraction.
Well, those are pretty easy. That's going to take up a little of your time tomorrow. So these are pretty simple.
Okay.
It's basically you already had the vodka and the bottles and the rags. This is not a huge thing.
Right.
I'll say that because you're a veteran and you have your workshop where you could put this stuff together, it's not going to really cost you much. I'll have you do like a quick scene as you're preparing them next session.
Sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I'm basically working on the shotgun and just waiting for them to report back what they happen to scope out. So technically, if I was doing anything, I would be working through my class move of best laid plans, if that is appropriate. I don't know if that
will be
works.
for next time.
Okay.
Yep, and you guys are going to love the hell out of best laid plans. Can you read that move just for future reference, please?
Yeah, it's when you work out a plan with someone, you roll with mind, which I have a modifier on mind. If you succeed, you get several holds of varying levels, and you can pick things like add 1 to someone's roll, dismiss all harm someone suffers from a single attack, ensure your people have the exact gear they need on hand, and if you miss, on a miss, hold 1, but your plan falls apart at the worst possible moment.
Yeah, so because of his expertise, the veteran is kind of like the planner, the plan maker type of thing. He's there to kind of ensure things go as well as they can. So that's pretty awesome. It's that move alone is amazing.
Yeah, interesting character, but you have to be able to plan, no improvisation.
Right. And these guys will bring back whatever intelligence, that kind of thing.
Yep.
All right. So, actually, I think that's as much time as we have. Mark, I'll definitely try to get you a little more face time next time. And we'll definitely be doing the thing, so won't be a big deal. But, yeah.
What was the name of the tainted?
John Wilkes.
John Wilkes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, question. Is everybody planning to be here this coming Thursday? Next session?
Which is what date? Is that the 14th?
Yeah.
I will not be. I will not be here for that one.
Oh no. Well, it's going to be interesting. We'll put you in the background.
Yeah.
And I know you told me about this, so it's not a surprise. But yeah, so we'll work it out.
I do have a sniper rifle, so
yes, exactly. And that could be.
I may be late on the 21st.
Okay, groovy. So let's do our end of session move. Let's see here. Session end, and this is a couple things. Does anyone believe they haven't gotten a debt that they deserve on someone? Did they basically do something for someone, and we didn't actually proclaim that there was a debt? I don't think so. I think we covered all that, but this is a good time to ask.
I think I'm good.
All right.
Yep.
So each of you, here's where it gets fun. So at the end of every session, if you don't have to do this, but if you learn something meaningful about a faction, raise your score in that faction by 1 and decrease your score in a different faction by 1. So this basically is, I learned something about this one, and doing so, I kind of gave up a little of this one. So I'm not sure if you guys want to use that move or not, but now is the time to do it. So mark your sheet appropriately. Let me know what it is, if you choose to make the move.
So technically, I can say, is it dynamic on the session, right? I mean, this is an ebb and flow kind of thing.
Yeah, you could do minus this and plus this session, and next session you could do the exact opposite. It's just a matter of which faction you feel closer to, or know more about, or etc., and which one do you feel you're moving away from at the end of any given session.
I would say I learned that specifically about Doc, that he's in league with vampires. I don't know how specific that is to his faction as mortality, but He is of mortality, and I find that rather interesting. So
Okay. Yeah, if you want to do that, go ahead and do +1 mortality,
Okay.
-1. What's going to be the -1?
Well, I didn't. Let's see. Let's minus power or night. Let's minus night.
Cool. All right. How about Adrian?
And I don't think I learned too much.
Okay, and you don't have to
Obviously.
do this move.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't think there was anything like outstanding.
Cool. All right, should we leave it at that?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. How about Doc? What are your thoughts on the factions for this evening?
Yeah. I think I learned something about power in terms of the connections with Stan and Julian.
Okay.
That would be of significant. Didn't know that there was a move happening with the power faction.
Okay. So if you want to do +1 power, -1 to what?
Mortality, because I haven't really dealt with the humans in this one.
Very cool. All right. So yeah, mark it on your sheet, and that is all she wrote. Cool. And we're right on time. So 9:59, or
Great.
10:59 if you're in the Eastern, like our good buddy Steve.
Yeah.
So yes.
Nice.
Yes. So thank everyone for being here, players, viewers, etc. If you are looking for more, definitely, if you're on my Twitch channel, definitely follow it. Choose the option to be alerted when I go online to get those alerts. Also, you can join my Discord channel, which is below, and also Twitter. I'll be announcing things on there. And that's it. Does anyone else have any kind of announcements they'd like to put out?
Nope. Had fun.
Where to find
Good
you?
times.
Are you
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
no, you can't say that. Mark, are you still thinking of maybe doing some programming streams?
Yeah. I mean, and amongst all the other things I'm trying to do, it would be pretty fun to do a coding stream, perhaps at some point.
Cool. Awesome. Steve, anything for you, sir?
Nothing.
Perfect. All right. Well, Steve, I'll be seeing you on Sunday.
Okay.
For
Nice.
our Masks game. And otherwise, thank you guys. You guys are awesome tonight. So give yourself a big pat on the back. And you guys really doing great, beyond my expectations. Like I said, please do kind of keep read the book. Read the book. Read your the moves. Read your playbooks. Kind of get a little more familiar. And before you know it, this will be like riding a bike.
Homework
Cool.
time.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Say bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.